Evolution. Sports Talk Television live here nightly. All Bucs report. It's the Sports Lab. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about on tonight's show. All right, that's it here, live here on the Sports Web from the Deck Bar and Grill as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Washington football team 31-23 to pick up their first postseason win since January of 2003. And now we will wait for this Bucs team and see who they face. Will they go and face the New Orleans Saints tomorrow? Not tomorrow, but next week, if the Saints take care of business versus the Bears, or will they host the LA Rams at Raymond James Stadium? I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Rick Hughes from the Cheap Seats. What's cooking in the South? And look, it wasn't necessarily the prettiest win, but at the end of the day, Rick Hughes, it's a big-time win.
It was beautiful to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was beautiful to me. Look, you handled the defense. You did what you needed to do. I mean, was it perfect?
No.
Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? Guess what? They're playing more bonus Bucs ball next week.
And here's the thing, the Washington football team, they weren't going to lay down. But, for me, look, you give up 3 sacks tonight. Deron Payne had a couple of those, but Chase Young was basically –
Who?
Yeah, right, exactly. Chase Young did not show up in this game. You got to give credit to where credit is due. Donovan Smith really kept him in control. The whole offensive line did a pretty good job, although Alex Kappa going out, that could be a worry down the road here. Hopefully it's not a serious ankle injury because you got Ted Larson. So, guys, what do you think out there, Webheads, Bucs fans? What do you think about this big win by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Washington football team in this wild card weekend? 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. Look at the final stats for Tom Brady, 22 for 40, 381s, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, although in that third quarter, only 97 yards. That's where the Washington football team caught them. And it doesn't help with Keyshawn Vaughn turning over the ball.
Yeah.
After that, you really didn't see him. But I tell you right now, we talked about the victim of volume. He was hurt before the game. Leonard Fournette, very impressive. 19 carries, 93 yards, 1 touchdown. And when they needed to give the pill to him to run the clock and need somebody to get those yards and have a big-time run, he definitely came through in this game versus this other football team.
Yeah, and you saying they needed to give the pill to him, which is the irony of that is he was the medicine this team needed.
He really was.
They ran the ball.
Yes.
They ran the ball. They ran the ball. And
Yes.
that's what's needed to happen for weeks and weeks and weeks, and look at what happens. Look, you didn't win by 20 points. You won. You can't win the Super Bowl this week.
Right.
So they did everything they needed to do to move on.
Look, there's a reason why the Washington football team has a pretty good defense, right? I mean, they kept them in the game, but credit where credit is due. Tyler Heineke played well.
Yeah.
They played well in this game, over 300 yards of passing.
Yeah.
He showed some moxie, also showed some mobility here where he really gave the Bucs defense some problems. And I think, look, that's some of the things you got to clean up if you're going to face the Rams or you're going to face, of course, the Saints, which a lot of people expect the Saints to be their next opponent. So you can't play like that versus a Jared Goff, possibly. You can't play that. You can't play like that versus a Drew Brees. You got to shore those things up. But again, they get paid too, Rick. They get paid to play the game. And Ron Rivera has that team believing that they could come through with the upset tonight. And hats off to that team for playing well as they did. But at the end of the day, Bucs find a way to win, and that's what it's all about, Bucs fans.
And that's what I laugh about. I looked at my Facebook news feed multiple times and Twitter feed, and I was watching, and you would never know that the Bucs never trailed in this game.
I'm telling you, I really would. I get it, though. A lot of people want blowouts and stuff like that, but it's postseason. And in putting all that aside, look, yes, the Washington football team came into this game at 7-9, but it's 0-0 in the postseason. So, guys, what do you think about this Bucs big-time win over the Washington football team, 31-23, to pick up their first postseason victory since 2003 in January? 727-255-0391. 727-255-0391. Let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. You're on with yours truly, along with Rick Hughes from the Cheap Seats. What's cooking in the South? What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, I'm not hearing you here. What's going on? Hello?
Good talk. That was awesome.
Are you there? Hold on a sec.
So, I mean, the thing is this. The thing that I get so excited about when I watch this game is this. I understand that everybody wanted to win by 20.
Right, we got somebody there. Go ahead. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
You got me, Pete? Okay.
Gotcha.
Hey, what an unexpected great game. You know, when Alex Smith was ruled out tonight, you really didn't give this Washington team a chance.
Agree. Travis Faley of Rocket Sports and Entertainment, by the way. Go ahead, Travis.
Oh, thanks, no problem. They played their hearts out, and when push came to shove and the Bucs needed to stop, they got to stop and go grab that victory. You know, you really have to look at it you're going to have an opportunity to play New Orleans for the third time this season because of the fact I can't see New Orleans beating the Bears tomorrow. There's no way possible because of the fact of, you know, the Saints will have all guns blazing on offense, and the Bears are missing three big players. So you're absolutely looking at a Buccaneers New Orleans Saints matchup, and the Bucs do themselves right, and the Rams did the Bucs a little bit of a favor because the Bucs will not have to go to Lambeau Field.
That's it. I mean, and that's the key thing because of the weather situation. I still think it would favor the Bucs because they definitely have that big win over Aaron Rodgers. But if you look at that pass rush tonight, at the end of the game, they came through, but most of the night there was really shut down. Credit to where credit is due. Once again, that offensive line, but the defense didn't do a good enough job of pressuring that quarterback. And on top of it, a couple of times, too many times, they lost containment for that quarterback to run out. We saw that earlier this year with Kirk Cousins doing his thing.
What is it? What is it with every once in a while this team just decides we're just going to stop blitzing?
Right.
I don't.
Well, you can't blitz on every play.
But they almost didn't blitz.
Right, but I agree with you. I thought they would blitz more, and they may have saw something again. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand some of the cornerback plays. You have Sean Murphy-Bunting not playing necessarily good technique, although was that a catch in the end zone, Travis and Rick, for Sims there? Because I don't think he necessarily completed that whole catch. It didn't look like he had control over it. What did you say?
I don't think so either. I thought there was a couple iffy plays in that game, especially by the referees, obviously, on both sides of the ball where things were called and things weren't called.
Yeah.
And, you know, catches were ruled catches and not catches. I mean, not to sound silly, but you know that last ball on the drive for Washington, I thought that was a catch.
Yeah.
So, you know, things. Big calls by the officials tonight in this game. Let's hope it doesn't come down to that in next week's game against the Saints. And you know, it's Breeze versus Brady one more time, and hey, it's lights out, baby. All players up on the line and get ready to go because if Michael Thomas is healthy and Kamara's healthy, and then you've got Brown and everybody else healthy for the Bucs, it should be an air show, baby.
Yeah, well, I tell you right now, I think Chicago still has an opportunity to beat that Saints team. So let's not rule out the Saints losing tomorrow to Chicago.
Let's stop a second here. Let's
just
stop. Roquan Smith is out for the Bears tomorrow. Kamara and Thomas are playing. The Bears are missing two of their starting secondary guys, and the rookie Jalen Johnson and Buster Screen. And they got guys that just can't cover New Orleans' offense. It's just not going to happen, Pete. I bet the house on it right now that the Bears will lose probably by 17 points tomorrow. And this is somebody that knows that team. Mitch Trubisky crumbles in a big game. And once again, tomorrow is a big game against a big opponent. This is a smoke and mirrors football team. They beat up on a bunch of bad teams all season long and got lucky early in the season. But when it came time to play competition, they They struggled.
Yeah.
Yes. Did they take New Orleans to overtime? Yes, they did. But that wasn't a full-strength New Orleans team like they're going to see tomorrow. Yes, they're missing their top sack guy on the defensive side of the ball, but if they slow down Montgomery, I can't see why the Saints can't beat this team by 17 points.
Any given Sunday, my friend, any given Sunday, but you're exactly right. The Bears are missing some key players, especially Roquan Smith, so we'll see how they deal with it. But I think there's a lot of Bucs fans that still want the Saints for the third time, and they may get their wish. And you go to New Orleans without any fans, you would think they would have an advantage with seeing a team 3 times. It's very difficult for a team to beat another 3 times in a row. So we'll see what happens. But, obviously, of course, a lot of Bucs fans would hope for the Rams to be hosting it. But that Rams defense is nothing short of amazing what they did to Russell Wilson and that Seattle Seahawk offense today. So don't know if you want that. But
that was an interesting game. Seattle just really didn't seem like they can get it going, and there were some big drops in that game like there was in this game on both sides of the ball. I think Chris Godwin's going to spend a lot of time at the jugs machine this week.
5 drops, I counted. 5 drops. Look, he had a touchdown tonight, had some big catches, but he also missed some plays there. He could have had over 100 yards receiving, but 5 drops.
How uncharacteristic.
Very uncharacteristic, and dropped a touchdown there, which is a big play. That's a critical play. And instead of having a touchdown, he settled for a field goal. And, of course, that goes back to what Harry the Greek said, our professional handicapper. It's a field goal game. If you're kicking field goals, which, Suckup makes a big field goal there to give the Bucs the 21-16 lead, 38 yards. I get it. You need your kicking game. But if you settle for field goals, then basically you're playing into a defensive team's hands. And they let Washington in the game by, Godwin missing a touchdown there. You also give up a field goal because Jordan Whitehead is not able to capitalize on an interception. So those are critical plays that you have to make in big games. Look, you may be able to get away with that with the Washington football team. But if you want to beat the Saints, you want to beat the Rams, you have to make those critical plays. If not, they're going to cost you.
And I agree with that 100%. I thought Gronkowski would be used a little bit more tonight, but what he was doing with the inline blocking was
he was used a lot.
He's a monster. He's an absolute monster.
And what I meant more in the passing game, but Cameron Brate was fantastic in the role, and that's when we talked about this team in the preseason, and they started adding guys, with Gronkowski, and then obviously we knew that Brate was there, and then the wide receiving core that was there prior to them getting Antonio Brown, that this team was packed and stacked. They go out, they get Fournette, who had the lead role tonight with Rojo out and awesome. With Shady McCoy out. So really, really nice, a good game. I expected a little bit more of a blowout in this game, but you got to give it up to Heineke, the quarterback for Washington, who played the game of his life, game of his career, and I hope the kid gets paid. That dive at the pylon was special, guys.
No, it was. He really wanted it, and a special moment. You could see his speed and his athleticism, and that's why nobody's heard of this kid, but you get an opportunity. But you go to the offensive line. We talked about it. 50 sacks in a game. The pass rush wasn't there for the Bucs tonight. It just was not there. It was somewhat disappointing. But in the end, Levante David comes through. And, of course, if anybody's going to come through with the sack at the end of the game, it has to be Levante David. Here's a player who has been on this team for years, who has hungered for the opportunity to make a play in the postseason. And basically, that's one of the biggest plays in that game. So good for Levante David. Good for this defense closing it out as the Bucs survive 31-23. What else, Travis Faley?
Absolutely, Levante David's a class guy, and we talked a little bit about the drops, and I wonder, we look at the Godwin drops, and then when you got to look on the other side of the ball with a few of the Washington drops, especially in the first half of the game. If they catch those balls, we're talking about Heineke having maybe a 130 passer rating if those guys catch some big drops on both sides of the ball today. So, man, what a game! I'll end it like I started it, Pete. What a great, unexpected game. I know as Buck fans, you would have rather had a blowout, but as a football fan, a general overall football fan, you really got to appreciate the game tonight, other than some stuff with the referees and the drops, but that's part of the game.
I agree. Good stuff, Travis Haley. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons for you right there. Thanks a lot for the call, my friend, all right?
You got it, man. We'll be talking tomorrow, and I can't wait for the games tomorrow.
I can't wait for the games tomorrow either. If it's anything like the games today, which were pretty close, besides maybe the Rams and Seahawks game, I think we're in for a treat. Good stuff, Travis Haley.
Absolutely. Hey, Pete. Hey,
Yes.
It's good to see Rick out there with you guys. I hope you guys had a good time out at the deck.
Absolutely.
Great food out there, great people, a lot of great live entertainment.
Absolutely.
And I tell you, I love those wings out there, baby.
Yeah, we had wings and we had boneless chicken tonight. Thanks a lot for the call. We're live here from the Deck Bar and Grill. Appreciate you. We'll see you soon. All right, let's go out to Matt Colson. Matt, welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Rick Hughes, who I know has got to get out of here, but I know you want to talk to Matt Colson. So what do you have to say about this big-time Bucs victory over the Washington football team, 31-23, their first postseason win since January of 2003. How sweet does that feel, buddy?
It's good. It gave me a heart attack, but I had fun.
Well, I think as all Bucs fans, once again, Rolade spells relief and tums because that quarterback and what he was doing tonight, getting out of the pocket, Bucs losing containment, but hats off to that kid because he's never played in the postseason game before. Played pretty well. Played very well.
And I think he dislocated his non-throwing shoulder.
Looked like it.
Yeah.
Looked like it.
And they popped it back in and sent it back out there.
Looked like it late in the game. Absolutely. It did.
I don't know if you caught it or not. The reason I'm calling in, Bruce Arians just said that Alex Kappa has a fracture and probably done.
Wow. Okay, well, if that's true, then it looks like Alex Kappa could be done, and that's a major loss because the way Ted Larson played tonight. Wow. That's tough. If Alex Kappa is gone for an extended period of time and basically done, you're saying it's a fractured ankle. What is it now?
Well, he just said Greg Allman asked him what the situation was with it, and he said he had an X-ray. It looks like a fracture, but they want to go to a better X-ray machine at home and have it looked at again. But the last thing he said is it doesn't look good. That was the closing statement.
Okay.
So it sounds to me like I guess he broke his ankle. What is it with that position on both sides of the ball? We got a busted ankle on both of them.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, again, if that's true, good thing you have Ted Larson. But then again, Ted Larson didn't necessarily play that well tonight versus Ron Payne. In fact, Payne earned his money over Larson. So they got to get that stuff shored up because if not, we all know about it. We talked about it, and that's why it was one of my points in the game. Your interior line, especially your Ali Marpet, your Ryan Jensen, and your Alex Kappa, definitely had to come up big. And I felt like the offensive line at points in this game were dominant. They kept Chase Young under control. Montez Sweat had a sack. Payne had a couple sacks there. But besides that, I think you kept relatively Tom Brady pretty clean, and that was the key. If that's true with Kappa missing an extended period of time, you're definitely going to have to play better at the position, namely Larson. So hopefully that's not true, but we'll see. We'll definitely see here in the next couple of days.
Yeah, I didn't see the very beginning of the pregame or anything. And
well, shame on you. What were you watching? What were you watching, Matt Colson? Here's what you get for that. You admitted to that.
I watched that other game, the one with Phillip Rivers and where he left points on the field and went home.
Well, we were on at 6 o'clock. That game was over like 3 hours ago, bro.
Oh, well, there was one after that.
Oh, you're watching the Seahawks and Rams game. I get it. So you couldn't multitask, right? You didn't have a cell phone. You could have watched the show on, right?
No love.
No love at all, Matt Colson. All right, what else, Matt?
I guess I'll have to start checking out and getting all my crap together so I can watch all 3 games at the same time on 5 different TVs.
That's right. You better get your stuff together here, buddy. You're supposed to be one of the integral parts here, one of the web heads. You're supposed to be watching. So what else did you take out of this game tonight?
Well, Leonard Fournette came in and did very good.
Absolutely.
I'm
happy for him. I love the victim of volume and the Ronald Jones, but there was never any doubt with Leonard Fournette being a talented running back. My point has always been he has been underachieving. He has not necessarily played his best, but tonight when they gave him the ball, and they gave him the ball quite a bit here, 19 times is pretty good. For 93 yards, that's what you want. That takes the pressure off of a Tom Brady, and that also opens it up for pass play action. So at the end of the day, good for Fournette, good for the Bucs. They go over 100 rushing yards. That's the way you got to do it.
And I want to say something, kind of bringing it up. I'm sort of going to steal something from Blake Anthony. Hey, all you people who said Mike Evans should sit, where y'all at?
Yeah, I mean, that was the other big story here. 6 catches for 119 yards. He was huge in this game when Chris Godwin, to me, I counted 5 drops.
I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah, but
the
Mike
guy
Evans
with the surest hands on the team, and
Yeah.
he couldn't hold on to anything. And Mike Evans,
big plays too.
Yeah.
A big play there. It
Yeah.
looked like late in the third quarter when they were driving, it looked like he had an opportunity. He had some field in front of him, but he's not able to secure it. He dropped a touchdown, as we talked about before. But Mike Evans tonight, hyperextended knee. Nah, he was good. 100 receiving yards.
Yeah.
One catch for 15 yards in the first half. In the second half, the guy was money. 5 catches for 107 yards. There you go. Proof
If you said before this year, if you said the Buccaneers will win the first round of the playoffs, 31-23,
you say playoffs?
Everyone would have been thrilled.
Playoffs.
Playoffs?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Playoffs?
Yes, Jim. Absolutely. What else, Matt?
Well, I got lost in that one. I don't remember what I was going to say. No, well, this is what I was going to say, because I'm negative Nelly.
Hold on a second. Let me put you on hold really quick here. Hold on. We got another call. Let me go back to Matt here. All right, hold the line there, caller. Go ahead, Matt.
We played down to our competition, and we did it again today.
Well, look, I'm not going to sit here and say you played down to your competition, because we all knew coming into this game that the Washington football defense was going to be tough. Now, should they have maybe stopped some of Heineke's runs when he got out of the pocket? Absolutely. But the Washington football team, give them credit. They were in the playoffs for a reason. Yes, it was a crappy division, but at the end of the day, this is why the postseason is so fun, Matt, because, again, any team has any opportunity, and especially if you're kicking field goals and you're settling for that instead of scoring touchdowns, and you're not making those critical plays, and you're keeping them in the game, that's what happens. So,
Matt,
I'm not going to say you're playing down to the competition.
Matt, they never trailed in the game. Why are you even remotely saying anything negative?
Because that's what he does. That's
Matt, they never trailed in the game.
You've never let me answer you.
Go ahead, Matt.
We should have been able to. Well, I don't know who this Heineke kid was. Never heard of him in my life.
Sure.
And he's coming in here, second start in his whole professional career in playoff games. We should have been able to get into his brain and beat him up and just close the door. That's what I expected. I didn't expect us to have to be worrying about maybe they get a 2-point conversion at the end of the game.
Sure.
And tie it up. We go into overtime. That's all I mean.
And by the way, I'll say it again, Peter. The thing that bothers me about some of the coaching decisions, chasing points, going for 2 early, the Buccaneers, if they had kicked 1, they would have been up by 9 on the last drive, and it wouldn't have mattered.
Agree.
I hate the chasing points early. You don't need to make up for the missed kick by going for 2 in the first quarter.
Yeah.
You just don't need to do it. Take the freaking point.
That's it. You absolutely take the points. So,
well, we played very well. I'm happy we won. Now I heard in the earnings press conference that there's some kind of mathematical way we could get a home game out of this.
Well, of course, there's a mathematical way you get a home game out of this.
It's not heavy math, brother.
If the Saints lose tomorrow to the Bears, then they would host the Rams, and the Bears would go to Green Bay. So, yes, you can host a game still. Yes, absolutely.
That's all it takes.
All right, Matt, I tell you what, we're going to run here. Call back, all right? We got other callers, man. I appreciate it. Let me fire the – all right, let me fire those cannons, buddy, right there. Let me go back out to the phone lines here. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Rick Hughes, some of the cheap seats. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Landon. I'm calling from Orlando.
What's going on, Landon? What do you think about this Bucs big victory tonight on Wild Card Weekend?
It's a great win. The only thing that I have an issue with, you already know I talked about this last week.
Sure.
Secondary. Something is going on with our secondary, and I've been preaching about this since 2003. We can never get our secondary right. Our linebacker core is great. Front four is great. Secondary, free safety, cornerback can never be right. We should not be playing like this against a backup quarterback in the playoffs. I understand the regular season,
right?
Not in the playoffs.
I agree.
Carolina, Anderson did this to us.
Right.
Water did this to us. All of these backup quarterbacks did this to us. But we should not be playing like this in the playoffs.
We only would have won.
Well, I mean, I get Rick. I get what Landon is saying. You're exactly right about this, because there were some blown coverages tonight, and you got to shore it up if you want to beat some of these top echelon teams. And I'm not saying Washington is it because they're in the playoffs, but they're also 7-9 for a reason. So you're exactly right. You're playing a backup quarterback, but it also goes back to what we always talk about when it comes to this Bucs defense. You have to get consistent pressure on any quarterback and give Washington's line the credit. They shut down JPP. They shut down a Shaq Barrett, whether it was holding or whatever it was. They didn't get enough consistent pass pressure against that team. I will say that the running game, once again, was shut down by this Bucs defense, but you're exactly right. They didn't get enough constant pressure, but then again, they held Washington to some field goals tonight where, other teams, other defenses would, give up touchdowns. So I get it. They give up a lot of yards. You've got to shore it up. You've got to get more consistent pass pressure. And if you don't, you're exactly right. You're not going to beat these upper echelon teams. So they got some things to improve on. It was not necessarily a perfect game by any means. But at the end of the day, you know that Washington is going to give you everything you got because you got the other coach over there in a Ron Rivera who, look, he definitely deserves consideration for Coach of the Year, not only what he's gone through on the field, but off the field with cancer and everything else.
Absolutely.
So just a tremendous coach, and I really think that team, they are a direct reflection of Rivera. Excuse me.
Correct. You're completely correct about that. Along with Rivera, real good job, especially when they pretty much let go of the starting quarterback. So I understand that, which comes back to my point. I mean, he did not have enough start to be playing like this. He played like he was Drew Brees. He played like he was Aaron Rodgers.
Sure.
I swear I thought I saw Brett Favre.
Well, I tell you right now, 26 for 44, 306 yards. Couple touchdowns there and a rushing touchdown. So yeah, not necessarily actually one touchdown, one interception, then he had a rushing touchdown. So you're exactly right. There were moments tonight where he made some plays. He really did. So
yes. And one thing, this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, it reminds me of 2002. 2002 defense is our offense. We got a bunch of Hall of Fame players that's on our offense. Like in 2002, we had a bunch of Hall of Fame players on our defense, and we needed our offense to step up. It's just like what's going on now. Our 2021 Tampa Bay Buccaneers, our offense is the Hall of Fame superstar team, and we need our defense to step up like we needed our offense to step up back in 2002. It's kind of like it's a flip. It's a completely flip. So, I mean, I'm hoping we play New Orleans next week. Jameis Winston knows our playbook. That's why they've been dominating us these past 2 days. He knows our playbook. Jameis Winston was the average in that playbook. He studied that playbook like he never studied before. So I know that's the reason why they dominate our offense. Hopefully they can switch it up. Hopefully they can show them some different looks that they don't know about. Because I'm afraid to telling them all of our playbook. Hopefully we come out with a win. But my playbook.
Okay. Going back, hold on, Landon. Going back to the whole playbook thing, Jameis Winston has the playbook, and we're on with Blake Anthony of Sports Talk 49, which can be seen and heard here on Monday and Wednesdays at 3 o'clock on Bucs Report. Let me ask you, Blake, everybody's talking about this. Jameis Winston has their playbook. They have film. They know the tendencies of the Buccaneers. They've seen them enough, as well as the Bucs have seen them. So they're going to have some wrinkles and stuff like that. It's very tough to beat a team if you're playing the Saints next week. We don't know that yet until what happens tomorrow. But let's say you do. Jameis Winston having their playbook, I mean, is that accurate or come on?
Well, there's plenty of
players. The reason why I said that because you see how they play. They play us 2 high safeties. They played us back-to-back games. 2 high safeties they played because they know we like to air it out. So Jameis knows that. He do that. That's why he threw that many picks. He knows that playbook.
Well, I don't necessarily think it's all Jameis Winston. I think it's Sean Payton. I think it's also Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator. And I also think it comes down to what Blake is talking about. It's better execution. And if you want to be a Saints team, you've got to have better execution than you had tonight. I think that's fair. I don't think Jameis Winston has your playbook and you're doomed because Winston has your playbook. I think people are kind of making too much of a big deal about that. I do. I think, I don't know, Landon. Yeah, well, we'll see. So what else did you take out of this game tonight? What was some positives you took out of this game? Yeah, big time catches tonight. Big time. Yeah.
He showed out today. that free tight end. I'm looking forward to even next year with OJ coming back. But Cameron Brate showed us why we shouldn't think about letting him go. Trading him. I heard you were talking about possibly trading Cameron Brate.
Right.
He showed us why we need him on our team. Him and Evans has been so out. When they got an injury, he put up, I believe, 100 and something. I don't know what it is. He showed out as well. So, I mean, those people that stand out there are honestly made money. He made money. They got 7 takedowns. So, I mean, those are the people that I enjoy watching.
Okay. All right, good stuff, Landon. Appreciate you. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons for you right there. And thanks a lot for the call. There you go. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 as the Bucs beat the Washington football team 31-23 to pick up their first postseason win since January of 2003. Consequently, they win the Super Bowl that year, but definitely didn't necessarily play like a Super Bowl team. People keep on talking about the secondary and the defensive line. What did you see tonight, Mr. Blake Anthony?
So what does a Super Bowl team exactly look like? I know the Super Bowl team I know is the one that wins at the end. But no matter what happens in the game, you just find ways to win. But of course, they have things to look at, and you're going to play the next opponent differently as you're going to play Washington. As at first, they game plan for Alex Smith, then you get Heineke that comes in and plays outstanding. Probably earn himself another paycheck next year and possibly some looks from some other teams. Go ahead, you can take that.
Yeah, let me go ahead. Let's go out to the phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution here on with yours truly, along with Mr. Blake Anthony of Sports Talk 49 after this Bucs big victory over the Washington football team. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, guys, this is Jeff calling from Tampa. First-time caller, long-time listener.
Hey, man, appreciate you. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons for you. I mean, Jeff, what took you so long to call the Evolution of Sports Talk Television? What do you think about this Bucs big victory tonight over this team?
I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. I been a fan since the late '90s. We had a good about decade there, and then the past decade's been kind of rough. But it's just good to get this one out of the on the books there and kind of get those nerves out. I see the other caller talking about Brate, seeing these guys step up, Antonio Brown early on in the game. It's just, I think we're hitting our groove in a lot of ways. I do think, I stoked with the win. I do think we got to get that defense to step up a bit. I need somebody to explain to me why we keep the zone going. I just feel like there's always these pockets they find when we're playing the zone D. And I know we get those blitzes, but this zone D is killing me. I need to see
Jeff,
why we're doing that.
I'll tell you what. Let me go out to Blake Anthony here. Why do you think there's certain points? See you, Rick Hughes from the Cheap Seats. Thanks a lot for coming out to the Deck Bar and Grill in Isla. They continue to run that type of zone.
Depends on what they got going on. I don't know if they got a blitz going or if they're designed to roll a bracketed coverage a certain way. It could be different reasons why they do that. But it's just playing your technique. And as I always tell you, they look in the backfield a lot when they get beat. Sean Murphy-Bunting, when you rewatch that tape, he's staring at Heineke.
Is it technique with this kid?
Technique. That's why I said I can't. That's what I tell you when that happened. Well, the first thing I said is I can't wait till that tape comes out because Sean Murphy-Bunting staring at the quarterback the whole time. Meanwhile, the receiver's 5 yards in front of him.
Right.
And he's playing trail at that point. At that point, he's already got 6 points.
It looked like we saw the same thing, Jeff, tonight with Mike Edwards, who looked like he was
staring at the quarterback,
instead of
covering your man,
doing your job. I mean, that's what it comes down to, doing your job. If you're staring at the quarterback, you're not doing your job. I don't care who's back there. And everybody's saying, well, he's a second quarterback. He's a playoff quarterback. I get it. He's never seen the postseason, but if you're giving those looks, I mean, he's not a vegetable or something. But again, that's what it's so important to get pressure on a quarterback. And I got to give credit to where credit is due. This Washington football team, their offensive line, 50 sacks, did a good job versus this Bucs defensive line. And it kind of makes you wonder that JPP knee injury is a little bit more
grabbing at it.
A little bit more serious than originally thought, because he looked like he was in a little bit of pain tonight, and he looked like he was largely ineffective.
Yeah, I tell you, and I'm really looking for Shaq Barrett to step up too, man. I mean, I don't know what are we paying him, $20 million this year on that 1 year deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's been efficient, but I don't know, what did he have, 7 or 8 or something like that. I was really hoping to see him pop up. And I tell you what, guys, really missed Devin White tonight, especially with that mobile quarterback.
Would have helped.
Really missed Devin White. I saw on one of those first down runs, he probably would have came across the field and took the guy's head off. But Minter, I like Minter. He's been solid. He's a great guy to step in there, but kind of doesn't have that step that Devin White has. So looking forward to having him back next
exactly.
week. And,
Jeff, that is a great point because he didn't play in this game. He definitely adds a different aspect to it, an athleticism where you're able to let the hounds loose a little bit, let him loose. We saw Mentor with the earlier sack, but I think you kind of take a step back when you don't have a Devin White. Hopefully, I think you're going to get Devin White back next week, so that's definitely going to help this defense out. But again, they got to shore some things up. It's all about technique. It's about doing your job at the end of the day. I know it's simplistic and so easy to say, but you got to do it. It's New England Patriots football. If you want to play championship football consistently, you've got to do your job. And at times tonight, the Bucs defense didn't do their job at all.
Yeah, amen to that, man. I'm still proud of the team, man. I mean, like I said, it's been a long 13 years, but I'm proud of the guys. They pulled it off when they needed to pull it off, so I'm not mad about it. But definitely gave me a little heart attack there. So ready to step it up next week, and hopefully we get healthy and get our guys back. I mean, heck of a gutsy effort by Mike Evans out there tonight.
Absolutely. Is he not a stud? Were you one of those guys that said maybe the Bucs should rest him for this game? Because you rest him for this game, man, you're missing out on just a dynamic player. He played so big tonight. I mean, maybe not in the first half, but into that second half, he definitely was huge. So,
yeah, that was huge. I really want to get Rojo back too, man.
I do too.
Missed that.
I agree.
That dynamic. He hits the hole so quick. I mean, Fournette's been solid, but I can just tell Fournette kind of jumps around back there before he gets to it. Rojo just hits that hole, so hopefully we get him back next week. But I'll tell you what, guys, thanks, and fire them cannons.
Absolutely, Jeff. I tell you what, definitely keep on calling the Sports Web. Don't be a stranger, and tell your friends about the evolution of sports talk television. All right, my friend?
We'll do.
And
Take
Jeff,
care,
do me a favor.
Yeah.
Have a drink, buddy. Relax. It's all over with. On to the next week, okay? All right, there you go.
My friend. You got it. Thanks.
Appreciate you. There you go. Good stuff here. Really quick, I want to wish somebody, come here. I want to wish somebody a happy birthday. This lady right here, great woman, has been through a lot here lately with her family. Miss Tabitha Young. Her son is, 20 years old?
Yes, he turned 20 today.
Stormy Eddie. Happy birthday from the Sports Web. Of course, I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Your mom is great. Shane is absolutely fantastic. We appreciate you guys coming out here. So happy birthday. If you're a Bucs fan, I guess celebrate. Is he a Bucs fan? What is he?
No,
he's a Ravens fan. Well, Ravens are playing tomorrow. We'll see if they can pull it off. Hopefully for your birthday, I think the Ravens can pull that off. So thanks a lot for coming out tonight. Appreciate you.
Peter.
All right, happy birthday, buddy.
Yep.
Let's go out to the phone lines here. Well, let's say the phone lines are open. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Along with Blake Anthony, I'm your host, Peter Blake, on the Sports Web, live from the Deck Bar and Grill. Let's go out to the webheads. That's what I meant to say. Bad win, says Landon Joseph. I don't know what's a bad win. I mean, I get it. It's not the prettiest, but it's still a win. A win's a win. Bucs win. Fire them cannons. I shall do that. All right. Lane says a win is a win. Landon says I've been preaching it since day one. Secondary is suspect. Do you agree with that? Is that going to give some Bucs fans not only a heart attack, but possibly some some acid reflux during this game? Because there were times where we're like, oh my God, how is that guy wide open? Why is he playing so off? Why is he not turning his head? Why is this guy running wide open on some of these plays? It's just kind of perplexing, if you will.
It's called those mental breakdowns, mental mistakes, not knowing your side adjustments, not playing the technique as proper as you should. I said all year the sweet spot in that defense is behind those linebackers in front of the safety. Yeah, they went there on that drive where Haneke was able to make that scramble and run for a touchdown, and the other teams go to the same place as they went all season. So it's definitely an area that they need to clean up. But all that helps out if your front four can get home. Yeah. to the quarterback, which haven't been doing a lot in the past couple weeks.
All right, I want to read these comments here. Our first playoff win since the Super Bowl. Ari says, yeah, baby. Victor Cruz says, happy we won, but it was a messy win. Ben says, let's go. Bucs win. Landon says, again, we need better cornerbacks. Keith Richardson Sr. says, a playoff type of win. I'd gladly take it. Go Bucs. Again, against a tough defense, you have to be happy with it. Although Ted Larson starting going forward, he has to improve because I tell you what, Jerome Payne really made some money tonight on him. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely some communication error between Jensen and Larson, and that's what's going to happen when you get thrown into the game, into the fire, into that heated matchup. At that particular point in the game, Washington was trying to impose their dominance and take over the lead in that game, but Ted Larson gave up 2 sacks on some just an inside move.
Yeah, no. All right, let's go out. Love it. Go Bucs. Landon says, again, I didn't like that win at all, but it's a win at the end of the day. Would you rather like a loss? I mean, Landon, a win is a win. Malik says, 1-0, no such thing as a bad win. Postseason wins are great either way. I like the attitude. Ari says, go Bucs. Bring in the Saints or the Rams. Let's effing go. I'm not going to say it. Go Bucs, go Bucs. Lewis says, I'm going to assume the sloppy hands on Godwin tonight was because of the cold. Is that an assumption that we can make, maybe still dealing with the injury, or is it, in your opinion, just a mental thing and an anomaly, if you will, Leo word, because it doesn't happen because Godwin is one of the most dependable wide receivers on this team?
Where did Godwin play college at?
Penn State.
Not an excuse.
Yeah.
He just had a bad game. That's what I'm going to chalk it up to.
I think it's what it is, a bad game. And he had an opportunity to catch that touchdown. He catch that touchdown.
We don't even have this guy.
Well, right. It's a different type of game.
That, and I'm surprised nobody's brought it up yet. Buccaneers were in full control of this game without Washington even having a chance until that Keyshawn Vaughn fumble. That was where the momentum swing. The Bucs were inside the 40 at that point. They turned the ball over.
Yeah.
Washington comes down and scores points off a turnover in that game, and they kind of started believing that they could win that game. That was kind of a turning point for Washington because I believe if the Bucs even come get a field goal at that point.
Right. Well, that's a big-time turnover, and Keyshawn Vaughn being a rookie, you can't put the ball on the ground, and you didn't see him after that. And that's the problem.
He knew it.
That is the reason why turnovers and taking care of the ball is so important because with a defense like Washington, if you get a turnover, then basically their offense doesn't have to do a lot of work. And then on top of it, you get the mo, like our guy said, Harry the Greek, our professional handicapper, you get that mo, then basically you can get back in the game. And you're exactly right. You take points off the board, especially in scoring position. So that's not going to be tolerated. Keyshawn, it's not going to be tolerated.
He knew it. And he saw frustration as soon as he went right to the bench.
Yep.
But I've been on some defenses where the offense was bad and your main focus on defense was to get the ball back for the offense because you know that they're not going to put up enough points. So you try to get many turnovers or to score on defense.
Yeah.
As I was telling Peter, I said, look, they're pulling at the ball every chance they get. I see the call. Go ahead.
All right, let's go back out to the phone lines. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly along with Blake Anthony after the Bucs beat the Washington football team 31-23 in Wild Card Weekend. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is John. Let's go, boys.
What's going on, John? How you doing? Welcome to the Evolution. What's on your mind?
Hey, couple thoughts on the defense.
Okay.
Mostly worried about the defense tonight. Feel like the offense would do it. So first of all, we dropped a couple interceptions.
Agree.
Could have really changed the game
Jordan
there.
Whitehead.
Agree. Jordan Whitehead
Kills that
there,
drive.
critical, because if you get that, then the Washington football team doesn't score a field goal. And that's the difference right there.
And they scored on the 4th down. That was the 4th down. That's why you cannot drop interceptions.
Was it the 4th down? Was it a touchdown on that drive, or was it a field goal? I thought it was a field goal.
I have to look at it again. But either way, they got points out of it.
Right. Exactly.
There
That's
was
the point.
another interception earlier in the game, too, that they dropped that I'm
Agree.
blanking on right now.
Agree. There were a couple plays there the Bucs can make, and you gotta make those plays. You can't give. And look, Washington football team, are they a great team? They're in the playoffs. You can't give good teams.
Number 2 defense.
Right.
So.
Right. Nothing to sneeze about. That's for sure. Absolutely. What else?
Also, we were playing some soft zone there pretty much all game. So we're given a 10-yard cushion. I thought I saw a VH3 out there for a minute. I'm not sure. We're definitely given some big cushion there. I don't know why, because we had Carlton Davis back, and you know he can play. He's one of the top corners in the league. So
right. I mean, I
don't know why we're doing it.
I don't understand it either. That was one of the things I looked at Blake Anthony and I go, why is this secondary continue to struggle at points in the game? And they were struggling in this game, leaving wide open receivers, tight ends. Tackling wasn't the best tonight either. That was one thing that was kind of disappointing. And then on top of it, when you have an opportunity to sack the quarterback, you got to sack the quarterback. You can't let him get an extra 10 to 20 yards. I get it. He's athletic, but you got to.
I got something on that, actually.
Sure. Go ahead.
And, I feel like Levante, if y'all remember, when he was a rookie, I believe, he had that penalty called against him that lost us the game.
Against the Jets, yes. I remember that. Yes,
right.
Yes.
And I feel like he might preach that to the team. And we're pretty good about not taking penalties as a defense, except for Sue. Sue doesn't count because he's just kind of a vigilante. So you're
thinking that David is having those bad memories of the Jets game late in that fourth quarter where it sets up. I don't know about that. I just think it's all about technique. Again, it's all about doing your job, tackling, especially when you have an opportunity to hold somebody to 3 or 4 yards and then they go for 14 or 20. That's not ideal. That's not what a good defense does. And again, they have things to work on. They definitely have things to work on. They need to work on them. And they need to get them cleaned up because if not, they're going to pay. So
I think it's the leadership. You can just see that we don't take bad penalties. We don't hit guys out of bounds.
Right.
We don't take helmet to helmets. We're really good at not taking those stupid penalties. So
well, you're not good at taking stupid penalties, but even with not taking stupid penalties, you can't have stupid mistakes. And that's the thing that we're trying to focus on here. But I think you're right about that. You don't have stupid penalties. Although you had an offsides again tonight,
it was a neutral zone,
right? So which is the bugaboo of this defensive line. They definitely got to clean that up. But the blown coverages, right? I mean, it's not good. Again, you allow a quarterback to go over 300 yards, who's a backup, but it goes back to what we always talk about here, John. You've got to get pressure on the quarterback consistently. If you don't, he's going to make you pay because sometimes your cornerbacks can't hold up, and these cornerbacks
could not hold
up. They're definitely susceptible. So you got things to work on. That's for sure.
They are.
What else?
Last thing. Yeah, it's just what I want to say. Do you think they were prepared for Heineke? Because, I wasn't paying as much attention this week. I thought Alex Smith was going to start, but what do you think? Were they prepared?
I don't know. That's hard to say. I mean, in your opinion here, Blake, do you think they were prepared for him? I mean, I think they were game planning most likely for Alex Smith, but you game plan for both of these quarterbacks. You don't have all the tape on him. You don't know his tendencies, but at the end of the day, it comes down to, like you talked about, I think it's execution. And some of the runs tonight, that's clearly losing containment and also taking some bad angles. And like we talked about, bad tackling.
There's few sacks that they should have had.
Yeah.
One, Levante David bit stupidly on a pump fake. He goes right by him and gets him 10 yards. That's just a mental error.
Was that Mentor or David?
Either, whoever it was, it's a sack.
Right.
If you don't buy the pump fake, at that point, you got to know he's just running for his life and trying to get around you, and you allowed him to get around you and got a big run. Jason Pierre-Paul several times got shooken out of his shoes by Heineke behind the line where he should have gotten sacked. Then, of course, the big run where they went and he dove and hit the pylon.
Yeah.
Those are all sacks. I don't know what it was, that these guys were tired or fatigued. I'm not sure what it was. I know there's not a lot of rotation on there. You're not getting much help, even though Anthony Nelson did get a sack today. Him and Khalil Davis got one, but it's no consistent pressure coming from the front four.
David had one later on in the game, which was huge.
But I'm just talking about the consistency in the game.
Agreed.
And I believe it's leaving the secondary out the dry sometimes. That's why they're playing off a little bit so they can jump routes and things like that, but they're expecting pressure to get there. There's too many times in this game that quarterback just had way too much time to throw.
And again, give credit to where credit is due. The Washington football team, when the Bucs blitz, and we saw it a couple times, was picked up by the running back, was picked up by the offensive line. So if you're blitzing, I don't care if you blitz 20 times. If you don't get there
somebody's going to be
20
open.
times, somebody's going to be open one-on-one, especially if you're not good in coverage. So that's the one thing you got to worry about. You've got to get there, and if you're not getting there, then that basically leaves the cornerbacks out to dry. So, anything else?
Yeah. Do y'all think that Shaq and JPP should switch up rushing from
switch sides? We saw that tonight. That's
game.
One thing, Blake, you pointed out. Why did they do that? Is it that Shaq is better on the right side, more athletic than a JPP?
One reason why. Well, it's his knee.
But that's what I think it is too.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what I think it is. I think he's better on that side. That's where he got most of his sacks the majority of the time.
Yeah, that's where the 19 came from.
Yeah. So I mean, I would expect that to continue. I think that's going to continue, and especially if JPP in this injury, knock on wood, hopefully it's not something serious, but we saw JPP tonight hold his knee a couple of times.
Oh, yeah,
so
he was grimacing.
Right. Well, so we'll check. We'll see if that knee is.
I didn't know he was injured because he was really good from the other side last year.
Yeah.
He had one rush this game when JPP went out.
Yeah.
He didn't get the sack, but he got the pressure.
Yeah, he did get pressure that play. Yep, he's right.
All right, man. I appreciate the call here, John. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you. Good stuff. I want to go out to Harry the Greek, and then I want to read these comments. We got 159 people watching right now. Unbelievable. After the Bucs take care of business over the Washington football team, 31-23 to pick up their first postseason victory since January of 2003 here on the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, live here on Bucs Report, along with Blake Anthony of Sports Talk 49, live from the Deck Bar and Grill. Let's go out to our professional handicapper, Mr. 88% himself, Harry the Greek. Harry, your thoughts on this Bucs big victory over the Washington football team? What did you see? Positives and negatives. Go.
What would you like me to start with? Positives or the negatives?
Let's
Seriously.
start with the positives first.
Okay, I'm going to tell you about the positive. It was a victory. No matter how you look at it, it was a victory. Tom Brady had a really good game. He got pressure a little bit, not too much. For the most part, they really nullified the edge rushers from the Washington football team. Even though Godwin dropped quite a few passes, he did catch a TD. Okay, so had they lost the game, then you could start pointing a little bit of fingers at Godwin. I didn't have a problem with him. He got the jitters out of him.
5 drops in this game. That's what I counted. Now, I know if that's official or not, but I counted 5 drops. That's way too many drops for Chris Godwin, who's one of your most dependable wide receivers.
Without question. And that could be a simple case of the jitters. Well, this game is out of the way.
Sure.
I thought Antonio Brown, after that one really good pass that that poor safety, I'm going to tell you right now, it looked like Michael Jordan giving someone a crossover. I mean, it was horrid. Yes. And then he was non-existent. When to use him anymore? Okay.
I think maybe that was Washington and their defense shutting him down, and then that's the reason why Evans, who only had 1 catch for 15 yards in the first half, that's definitely a positive. Talk about Mike Evans. I mean, you were kind of on the same wavelength of being concerned about him playing in this game, but Evans showed you that he's definitely a warrior and he's a big part of this offense.
Dude, no one's ever accused Mike Evans of not being a baller. Okay, the guy wants to play. I don't care if his knee was dislocated. The guy wants to play. I just think it wouldn't have been a very good idea for him to play for fear that he was going to get injured. And if you remember, I think it was in the 3rd or the 4th quarter, he caught that nice pass and he come up limp on that leg again.
Yep. Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus, man. I mean, it's just, the poor guy's just getting beat up. They needed him today.
They really did.
I'm telling you now, and I'm sorry to say this, if he didn't play today, I don't think the Buccaneers win this game. I just don't.
I tend to agree with you, and I'll tell you why, because you're right. Antonio Brown kind of disappeared after that big-time catch of the touchdown. Chris Godwin had his drops. You're exactly right. Mike Evans was huge in this game, getting open. And we always talk about it, 6'5", 6'6". You can't guard that. That's a mismatch nightmare, and that's what Evans provided today versus that Washington football team back end.
Look, all in all, it was a great win. But let's go to the negatives here. I seen something in the first quarter going into the second quarter, and then they started getting it together. They came out slow again. I understand that they put up a few points in the first quarter. Let's analyze how that happened. Okay. The defense got them a short field. If it wasn't for Minter, and I believe it was Minter, when my boy Bunting, that no one likes, caught that interception from the tip pass.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they gave him a relatively short field to go get the 7 points. But Washington came right back down and they went down and scored. Then Rivera gives them a bonehead decision to go ahead and do an onside kick for absolutely no reason. You talk about going for 2 is a bad idea. How about going for an onside kick? You're not going to fool that defense, especially with that type of kick. I don't know what in the world he was thinking. And then Tampa went down and scored 3. You take those 9 points off the board there, and we're talking about a different ball game. You're talking about a ball game that you're nail biting, not in the last 2 minutes. You're nail biting the entire fourth quarter. That's what I was disappointed about. I was also disappointed that I didn't see JPP, even though I did see him holding that knee. But what's wrong with Shaq Barrett? Okay, now I'm going to call somebody out.
Okay.
People get paid $20 million a year to get to the quarterback, to sack him, not to get to him and push him on the ground and create pressures. Pressures are really good for when your teammates and your coaches notice it. Fans don't see that. This is a game you had to get to him. This is a game that you had to do something. And the beer holder for a quarterback, Mr. Heineken himself, are you kidding me? 300 yards you're going to give up to this guy?
Yeah.
Another 60 yards running the football? This wasn't Alex Smith, okay? Alex Smith is not going to run for 60 yards, although back before his leg got hurt, he could run for 60 yards. But I assure you a different story. This game might have been a different outcome had Alex Smith been playing this game. And this young man right there needs to be on somebody's roster. I was talking to Blake off air a little while ago, and I was literally pulling my hair out going, how does someone like this get overlooked in the National Football League? And Blake's exact answer to me was, it happens all the time. And you know what? This is a really good young quarterback. I'm not saying he's taking anybody to Super Bowl, but he needs to be on someone's roster because Washington came to play football today. 300 yards for a kid playing in a playoff game without literally any regular season snaps. 1 touchdown, 1 ill-advised pass for an interception, and a couple of bonehead moves, and this game could have been a different story. But you know what the positive of this whole thing is, Pete? They got this damn game out of the way.
Yes.
For the kids that have not been in the playoffs and the young men that haven't been in the playoffs, they got this game out of the way. That gives them 2 letters. And what are those 2 letters I preach? M-O. That gives them that momentum. Because I'm telling you right now, I don't care who they play. They will win their next game. Whether they do go to New Orleans because this team can't cover them, but don't count this team out because they got something for New Orleans tomorrow. And I really hope that they get to come home because the Bears beat the New Orleans Saints and they get to host, I believe, the Rams, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
That would be absolutely wonderful. I want to see Mike Evans get a little bit of healing time on that knee, and I really hope he's going to be fine. But I'm going to tell you now, they need to do something with Shaq Barrett. Shaq Barrett needs to switch it up. I don't know if he needs to rush from a stand-up position or they need to move him a little further back or maybe a little bit further wide. But there's something going on there because you're not going to get through the playoffs unscathed, giving up 300 yards to unknown quarterbacks.
I agree with that. I absolutely agree with you that. And we talked about it, Blake. You noticed it that they moved Shaq to the other side, which seemed to really help. And I feel like that's where you may go. You may switch both of these guys, but if JPP is ailing with some type of knee injury and he's not as athletic as Shaq on that side, move Shaq to that side, put JPP on the left side and see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. You definitely got to switch it up. I expect Todd Bowles to do just that. I believe he hears exactly what Harry the Greek is saying. I know he's not seeing the non-production because a lot of this 300 yards of passing that Harry's talking about came from lack of pass rush. We can talk about secondary till you blue in the face, but how many times have we said the secondary doesn't look as bad?
And we also talked about the linebackers and Levante David.
The dead space between the two.
Right. I mean, that they have a problem. This Bucs defense, especially their linebackers covering tight ends, I think that's going to come back to bite them somewhat. So you definitely got to get that cleaned up. But you're exactly right. It's all about consistent pass rush. And Harry, you didn't have that tonight, and hopefully you can work on that because if you face Jared Goff, we've seen in the first matchup when you didn't get enough pressure on him, absolutely eaten up. When you went against the Pat Mahomes, when you went against a Drew Brees and he gave him all the time in the world, he ate you up. So you definitely got to work on this pass rush. It's got to get better, and it definitely starts with the Shaq Barrett. But I would expect him to have a better game than he did tonight. I saw a couple times where it looked like he was going to get after the quarterback, just missed him. Sometimes that happens.
Whiffs.
Yeah.
You know, Minter needs a little bit more playing time. Okay, and I'm going to tell you this right now. He's the most valuable player in this game on defense. And everybody's going to call me crazy. Why? Because of that tip ball. Okay. That's when pressure, you didn't get to the quarterback, but when they couldn't get to the quarterback, that's when he went like he's supposed to. Get your hands up. And that's exactly what he did. The very tip of his fingers touched that football okay, for Bunting to go ahead and get that interception. Because I'm telling you now, Washington had momentum in that on that drive. They were going to go down and score, whether it was 3 or 7, I don't know. But that one play right there, that game ball needed to be given to Minter. And he didn't throw for 400 yards. He didn't throw for the 2 touchdowns. He didn't get the 70 or 80 yards rushing the ball. But that was a key to a game. One of the many keys, but that was probably the most important key. And that's how I broke it down. And I haven't even watched the tape on this game yet.
Well, tell me, watch the tape on Leonard Fournette. How did you think he ran tonight? 19 carries for 93 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, he definitely looked like a bell cow running back. And when the Bucs needed to depend on him tonight, he definitely came through, not only in the rushing game, but also had some big-time catches with screens. We knew that Brady was going to incorporate any running back in this offense. So what were your thoughts on Leonard Fournette and how he played tonight versus Washington?
Honestly, this is what I'm going to tell you. He ran the ball extremely well. He ran the ball on a mission. They gave him the pill. And the more they kept giving it to him, if you notice in the fourth quarter, he broke for a 15 or 20-yard game. That's what you get with a Leonard Fournette. He is the bell cow right now, but he's not the best running back on this football team. They need Rojo, and I fear Rojo might be done for the season if that quad is as bad as people are saying. Because I was talking to a couple of people, and they said that quad is not looking good. It's the same one that he injured from before. And if he continues to run like that, that's going to be great. Trust me, those are 2 totally different running backs. I like Leonard Fournette, but by no means is he a Rojo.
Yeah, you're exactly right. But, we've seen it. The Bucs definitely depend on him. They believe in him. And a Keyshawn Vaughn, maybe not so much. You can't put the ball on the ground because the Bucs are in scoring opportunity. They don't get points because he fumbles, and then you don't see him the rest of the game. So it's a shame because he definitely showed some flashes of brilliance. But once again, it is so important, especially versus a team like Washington who wants to hang around, who wants to depend on your defense. With all that being said, all we talked about leading up to this game, Harry, was how Chase Young has definitely dominated this year, but he was nowhere to be found. In fact, he was a man on a milk carton tonight, right?
Yep, he got dinged up too, if I'm not mistaken, later on in the game. He tried to come back in. Tristan Wirfs, I'm going to tell you something. Someone says he's going to be the best left tackle in the league. Nobody. Don't move him. You leave him right exactly where he's at, because I'll tell you what, that guy is an absolute beast. And he's a rookie. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I just can't believe what I'm seeing. But as far as Keyshawn Vaughn, they need to put this experiment up for the year. I'm not saying he's not a good running back. He's going to be a really good running back in the National Football League. You don't need to see more of Keyshawn Vaughn in the playoffs right now. There is no reason why they have to play him. And I have no idea why Shady McCoy, who has a ton of playoff experience as well as regular season experience, wasn't even in the game. Someone said he was sick. I don't care. Take some Pepto-Bismol and get your ass on the football field and play like you're supposed to. Okay, give me a break. These are the playoffs. You want to go to the Super Bowl? It takes a collective team effort. I'm sorry your toenail's hurting. If it's not COVID, I don't want to hear about it. Get out there and play.
Absolutely. There you go. Harry the Greek, our professional handicapper, Mr. 88%, going up to 89, 90% as we speak, by the second, by the minute, by the hour. Thanks a lot for your time. Really quick, these games tomorrow, who do you like and why? And then we'll get you out of here for the night.
This is the one game I want to talk about. I want to talk about the Bear game because that's the only one that matters right now. Okay, I've already made the other bets, the pre-bets. I've given everybody the picks. It is for sure now that Roquan Smith is not playing tomorrow. Okay. That is a major loss for that Bears defense. And I was thinking, well, who's going to quarterback that defense in the back? And I'm like, by the way, Manti Te'o, they take off the practice squad.
Oh God.
Oh geez.
I mean, really, the guy's still in the league.
Is he gonna tackle his girlfriend?
Yeah. I think they're going to put a picture of a girlfriend in the end zone and pretend, it's her. Anyway, I don't think he's going to see the field much. Okay. I don't think.
Maybe that picture will be of Drew Brees because that's what you need tomorrow, especially without a Roquan Smith. And I think a lot of Bucs fans are hoping for the Saints to lose tomorrow so you can host that divisional game versus the LA Rams, even though the Rams and that defense is definitely for real. Were you surprised of how dominant they were versus the Seattle Seahawks? They got some garbage points at the end, but they absolutely stifled Russell Wilson. That's a scary defense, right?
Peter, you and I were talking about it. I mean, on the phone last night, today, whatever. I was like, Seattle, I mean, you remember I says I didn't know which way to go, and if I was leaning one way, I'd probably go with the Rams. But then I said there was a sucker bet out there because the line was so low at 42.5, and I was like, this game's going over. I says, but usually when the line is too good to be true, what did I always say? It usually is.
Usually is, yeah.
Well, I was a sucker, and I'm glad I was a sucker because the game went over. Let me tell you something. When the Rams want to play defense, and the one point that I was making last night in the past couple of shows with you, is they know their quarterback play is not going to be that good. They're injured. Jared Goff with a broken thumb and having the rookie quarterback out there, or I'm sorry, the young quarterback out there, he doesn't have much playing time. That defense knew that they had to play exceptional football in order to be competitive in that game. I mean, even more so than what they have been playing this year. But you know what? They played their game. Now they're banged up. You got no Aaron Donald. You talk about a team that's decimated, and I'm complaining about the Chicago Bears not having Roquan Smith. I mean, that team is really hurt. But going back to the Bear game and why I like the Bears still is because I keep forgetting Danny Trevathan, the veteran, not as fast as he used to be. He is going to be able to call the signals out there. You do have a healthy Khalil Mack and an Akeem Hicks. They are getting Jalen Johnson back. So they now have their two stud corners that'll be able to match up very well against New Orleans offense. My only concern is who is going to guard and who is going to spy on Alvin Kamara at all times. And that used to be Roquan Smith. So they're going to have to run it up. Maybe a safety is going to have to get on them or whatever. And you know what? That might not be a bad idea because safeties generally are a little bit faster. Chuck Pagano does call a good game plan. That game is still 10 points. It might even go to 10.5. And I still give that team a 60% chance of winning this game.
All right, good stuff. There you go, my professional handicapper, Mr. Harry the Greek. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. All right, boss?
Peter, Blake, you guys are the best. Great show, great views, great game. They're going to the second round of the playoffs. They got it out of their system. Everybody have a drink, but don't pop the champagne bottle yet.
Absolutely agree with you on that, my friend. We'll see you tomorrow. All right, boss?
All right, brother. You take care.
All right, there you go. Harry the Greek, my professional handicapper. Let's go out to the webheads here because, again, I don't want to neglect these guys. Sloppy, but I'll take it. Fire those cannons as we shall. Lots of comments to read. Adjusting for a running quarterback, anyone. I mean, is that a big-time problem for this team? Adjusting to a running quarterback, is that their Achilles heel, if you will? Because we saw, again, loss of containment, also opportunities to sack the quarterback, and they weren't able to do it.
I mean, they played against other mobile quarterbacks all year, and they fared pretty well. It was just missed tackles. They had plenty of times to tackle him.
Yeah,
I guess I really just don't know what it was today. It's just missed tackles in the backfield, and then he just made great plays with the opportunities given to him. I wouldn't call it a high concern. I know there's always negatives you want to look at in the game. I think they'll bounce back. The key part is they need to get some rest, get everybody healthy, assess what you got going on. Coming in Monday because they ain't got to play tomorrow, so they get an extra day to rest. That's the only difference, you get that extra day.
So it's a good thing.
Yeah, you get an extra day,
right?
So they can rest and assess what the injuries look like with Ronald Jones and everybody. But I don't think it's a concern. I think they'll be fine. But what I agree with Harry, and I think Todd Bowles will make adjustments. They need to find other ways to get this pass rush to be effective, whether it's moving people to different sides, stunting them, whatever it is. There definitely needs to be addressed.
And the blitzing didn't get there, but again, you get Devin White most likely back next week. How concerned are you with Alex Kappa if this is a long-term injury? And this is what Matt said, it could be a fracture. That's what Bruce Arians. So we'll again wait on it. But how concerned are you with Kappa missing some extended period of time with Ted Larson playing his role?
Well, this is a guy that played with a broken forearm or a broken hand for and a half. He looked like he didn't want to come out when he was walking out. He did walk off on his own. Again, we'll find out tomorrow or Monday what it really looks like. But if you're asking me my concern, Ted Larson's a guy that's played with the Bucs before, played with Bruce Arians. I think communication's just got to get better, and it all depends on the matchups that they're going against. This was a bad matchup for Larson to come in. Hence, he gave up 2 sacks coming in, thrown into the fire right away. So that is concerning. But let's see what it looks like with a full week of practice and game plan and see if he's going to stay there or they're going to plug somebody else in.
All right, let's read these comments. Once again, great win. Fire the Cannons. Defense needs to tackle better next week. All right, here we go. Let's see. Dustin says, felt like Devin White would have been an X factor tonight. Go Bucs. Absolutely. I'm happy defense has their heads cracked. Amanda is with the fire there, so we'll go ahead and fire the cannons for her. All right, Landon says, if you feel happy about our defense, you're not a football fan. Definitely not happy about the defense. They have things to work on, but you're happy about the win. Lewis says Fournette stepped up. Absolutely. Jonathan says that was a roller coaster that I never endured. Boom, 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 baby. It's a Bucs life. Go ahead and fire those cannons. Let's go ahead and go out to Reggie. We can say it's an ugly win, but look at it this way. We were missing Rojo on offense and Devin White on defense. A totally different story next week, though. Absolutely agree. John says, go Bucs. Let's go all the way to the Super Bowl. Tim says, woo. All right. Landon says, I care. I know you do. We care about you. That's my team. I called 8 points a win. I hope you won money on it. I care. I know you do. Again, let's see. Ryan says, let's go. Russ says, ugly win, but let's go Bucs. Sebastian Godwin had 5 drop passes, including a touchdown. I mean,
I was in the mitten too.
Yes, agree. Landon says, what do you mean? Who cares? Fire them cannons, man. We are on fire. Absolutely. Kenyatta says, thank God we cannot lose to a team without a name. Oh, you shut up. John says, yeah, let's go Tampa. Landon says, real Bucs fans care. Mike says, defense needs to step the you-know-what up. Godwin, bad game. Agree. Barber Joe Ketchum, woo! Way to go, Tampa. I never had a doubt. We'll go ahead and fire the cannons on that. Rodney says, did we just win? Laugh. Oh, my God, so happy. Sure. Absolutely. Landon says, I should not feel this way after a win. I get it. There's some concern. Joy. Yeah, I understand. Washington's quarterback was on fire. Blame the D if you want. That man was throwing dimes. Definitely give him credit. You look at the final numbers for him, over 300 yards, 26 for 44, 306, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, which was critical. And then, of course, that rushing touchdown. What did you see on that play? It looked like he could have got sacked a couple times there.
But
not able
made a great play.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Let's see here. Russ says, Brait was amazing tonight. I mean, is that one of your guys that you were really impressed by? It looked like they were using more Gronk on the end line blocking. He wasn't able to get open, but they had a plan tonight to counteract that Washington defensive line. So how impressed were you with the Cameron Brait tonight?
Well, Cameron Brait's always had good hands.
Yeah.
He wasn't always fast, but he had good hands. And sadly, he didn't catch that touchdown pass to hit the ground. But otherwise than that, he's pretty stellar all game.
Yeah. All right, let's go out to John here. Godwin played a little off, but we still got this. Again, open phone line if you want to talk about it. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Blake Anthony of Sports Talk 49 live here at the Deck Bar and Grill, which was packed up tonight. Now it's kind of cleared out, so we'll see how long we're going to go here, but we'll go as long as we can. 189 people watching. I definitely don't want to get off right now. So everybody at the deck, thank you very much for hanging out here. So let's see. I want to read all these comments. 4 receptions for 80 yards, averaging 20 yards per catch. Pretty good to me. Landon says, do you think the defense plays poor because the offense scores too fast?
Well, that definitely wasn't the case today.
Well, that's it. But that's not really a point of contention, right? No, because I think the offense at some points tonight really struggled putting the touchdown and putting touchdowns in the end zone.
They were long drives.
Carlton Cook, I just assume you don't know football with stupid comments like this. I don't see where Carlton Cook's comments are, so we kind of lost maybe a couple comments there. Sorry about that, guys. Suck up was solid.
Always.
Carlton shows out. He almost gets no targets for half of the season.
Can't make Pro Bowl.
I think that is, they're talking about who? They're talking about Cameron Brait? I think they're talking about Cameron Brait. Beat a real team, says Lewis. Well, they did beat a real team, so there you go. It's a team they had to play in the postseason. So they didn't make the schedule. The NFL did. So they played, and they beat their team they're supposed to beat. So that's it. LVD made the game-saving sack. Absolutely. TJ says, cap injury bad. Didn't hear much. Juan Cardo, Ramirez, Kappa is a tough loss. Carlton says, I'm talking history, bro. He had a good game today. Is that I don't know who they're talking about. We'll see. White speed allows him to cover the quarterback far better than Mentor. He has side-to-side speed. That would have been much better, more effective in the passing game than Mentor was. Mentor has always been good against the run and rushing, but he is average in coverage. He does play on tight ends well. Is that what you see with Mentor replacing Mentor, replacing Devin White.
Only thing Mentor really doesn't have is speed. Otherwise, now he does a lot of things well. He plays the run well, and he gets his hands on balls, as you saw today.
Okay. Carlton Cook, you realize Gronk is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he's talking about Gronk. Gronk was, he was not necessarily targeted in this game.
Gronk does not care.
Right.
He'll tell you that he's a blocking tight end.
But that may not been the game plan in the first place. And I kind of think if you go back, and I want you to take a look at this with Cameron Braid and Rob Gronkowski, most likely Gronkowski was used to help out of Donovan Smith. And Donovan Smith tonight had a pretty good game.
Oh, he's going to get my perspective.
Okay, because I thought he had a pretty good game and shut a lot of people up. Let's see here. What happened to the short game tonight, a.k.a. smoke throws to AB?
They did exactly what I said they were going to do. I showed Peter. I said they checked out of that, and they tried to throw a wheel right out of it. But the Washington football team was ready for it. So you're not going to run the same plays week to week. So if you were expecting that every week, it's not going to happen.
No, it's not. Again, it's all about game planning. Hardly any single players get a ton of targets. Have you seen this team, bro?
Yep.
Wolfgang's Z, Ravens versus Titans score prediction. Want to give a score prediction? I'm not giving one. That's a tough game.
It's going to be a battle, man.
It is going to be a battle, and it comes down to stopping a Derrick Henry, and on top of it, the Ravens coming in as one of the hottest teams in the AFC with a Lamar Jackson and with their rushing attack. I think the Titans are absolutely awful when it comes to defense. I favor the Ravens in this game, but it could be a lot closer than some people think.
Lamar got to break his no wins in the playoffs.
I agree, and he's got to throw consistently from the pocket. If he doesn't do that, I don't think they can win, although, once again, the Titans are pretty bad at defending the run, so we'll see.
Or getting to the quarterback. They're one of the lowest in sacks.
Well, they're equal in that. They're equally awful in both facets, so that doesn't work. Washington was a non-factor all game long. The receivers of the Bucs dropping balls left and right made the Washington football team look relevant. Carlton says, I assume a whole lot about you, but that's my opinion. I don't know what that's all about. Totally agree. I missed some of those comments, so I do apologize. I try to read every comment, but StreamYard, they're a bunch of jerks. They cut off some of my comments there. Was anyone else heartbroken when Godwin dropped 3 passes in a row? I mean, that's a mental thing, and it kind of snowballs at that point when you're not catching passes and then you're starting to overthink it, right?
Yeah, and like I said, he's normally reliable, and then other people showed up in his wake of him having a bad game that game.
Again, he's been Mr. Dependable, so I wouldn't expect that to carry on. Yeah, I wouldn't. Tom Brady was good, and that Chase Young girl as a non-factor. Let me go ahead and fire the cannons for that. Good stuff. Donovan Smith played great tonight. Got to give him credit when he plays good, since we gave him hell when he plays bad. How good will Tristan Wirfs be in a couple years if he's this good as a rookie? I mean, the sky's the limit for this kid. Really, I mean, this is – and people say, Jason Light's a terrible drafter. Right here, this is a kid that definitely from the very day one has been an impact. Antoine Winfield from day one has been an impact, so you got to give Jason Light credit.
Draft.
Yeah, you can't draft. Yeah, but Donovan Smith, loved his game tonight.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't talk a lot about Donovan Smith, which is always a good thing.
That's it. When you don't hear your number called, you're doing a good job on that position.
I always hear you, too, when we're watching the game. We go, no, Donovan. I didn't hear a lot of that tonight. Go ahead. Was that a good impression for you?
Yeah, that was good. I said, oh, no, here it comes. It's the lookout block where he get beat and he yelled back, look out.
I will say a couple of years ago, he was Winston's security blanket, big numbers that year, solid blocker. Howard, if healthy, is a specimen. Of course, Howard being out with injury.
Still waiting for him
to. Sure. Flashes of brilliance.
Still waiting.
Yep. Still waiting for him. So let's hit some more comments here. Misador says, Carlton Cook, assume all you want. I have a resume to back my football knowledge. I don't know what that's all about. Edward says, what's going on? Dean TJ says, Gronk didn't get any touches because he was assigned to stay on Young.
It's game plan.
Right.
It's game plan.
I mean, you're not going to – every guy, especially for this team at tight end, we talked about it before earlier on the season. You didn't see a lot of targets for Gronk. Why? Because he was a blocking incline tight end. But when he doesn't necessarily have to be an incline tight end, he gets his touches.
It's the wet work. Gets it done.
Absolutely. Yep. He does. I don't know what you just said, but I'll just go ahead and do that right there.
Hey.
All right, let's see here. Ravens will probably crush the Titans.
I know they're looking for some revenge.
Europe says this guy is a buzzkill.
There's a conversation.
Harry, really, 23 is horrible. Jeff Mooney says that missed fumble call early on the Washington territory made me crazy. What were the refs looking at? What were the refs looking at? What were they looking at on that?
They were looking at the other games.
Okay, that's what I thought. They needed to go to Lens Crafters. All right, we got Johnny Dean, the professor, in there. Let me read the rest of these comments. We'll get out to you. Carlton Cook, I'm not talking about Gronk. Stay on point, sir. You can take 10 points off of any team that got points in any game. Would be a nail-biter. Harry, WTF are you talking about? Laugh out loud. Shooter and Stash, Ravens have lost to the Titans the last 2 times they played, including the playoffs this year. And that's why I think the Ravens are going to win the game. It's a get-over game. Just saying. Maybe I'm wrong. Russ Lawson, a win is a win. Landon, I agree. Ryan, if Alex Smith was playing, he would have been injured big time. Irrelevant. Fact says Landon Joseph. Alex Smith, not Ryan Smith. That kid is good. I think they're saying Heineke. Landon Joseph, it happens all the time to the Bucs defense. Landon again, backup quarterbacks will do well against the Bucs defense. Is that a thing? I mean, is that just a thing for this Bucs defense? I mean, what is it? Or at the end of the day, you just got to give credit to where credit is due. They had a sound game plan versus this Bucs defense.
Who won the game today?
Right, exactly. But a lot of people still say they had problems because they allowed a backup quarterback to go for over 300 yards.
This would have never even been a discussion had Keyshawn Vaughn never fumbled. That is the point where everybody started biting their nails.
Guys are working me hard today. I'm drinking all this root beer.
When that fumble happened. Otherwise than that, Bucs were pretty much in the driver's seat this entire game.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see here. Heath says we need to clean up the stupid mistakes and catch the damn ball when it counts. Russ says, again, like Al Davis said, just win, baby. Me, Sador. Round 2 today doesn't matter. 62 Larson almost got Brady killed. I mean, we saw that. I was like, oh, my goodness.
It was miscommunication.
Wow. He says we hardly blitz at all. Not enough for a quarterback who just started. David says our offense is fine, but our back end coverage is piss poor. No pass rush, really, and holes and cushions all over the field. They're still looking at each other like what has got to get better fast. Do you agree with that?
I'm not sure what happened. I mean, it's confusing a little bit. The pass rush creates holes in the defense because these guys all day to throw, and you're going to find holes in the zone.
Sure.
You can't play man every down because you can't. And if you do play man with that kind of pass protection, you're not going to cover a wide out that long.
Yeah.
Not a professional football player that long, even in man coverage. They did blitz, just they weren't getting home. And the one time it didn't get home, but Minter got his hand up and he created a turnover off of the tip ball. So they were blitzing and mixing up coverages pretty good. It's just the inconsistent of pass rush has really been the story of the past couple of weeks.
I agree. Let's go out to Ari. Says what? Shooter and Stash says I agree. I think winning a close game and not caving and giving up the lead was huge for this team. Carlton says, and I don't know you, so your acumen means you're dreaming, Harry. Your Bears have absolutely zero chance to beat the Bears. I mean, agree with that?
Beat the Saints, and that's his opinion.
I mean, we'll see. Everybody has a chance.
Anytime
you saying there's a chance? Yeah, there's a chance.
Anytime you line up.
Although Lloyd Christmas didn't really have a chance with Mary Swanson, so it was kind of funny line. So we'll see if the Bears have a better chance than Lloyd had with Mary Swanson. All right. Yes, David says Ryan. Let's go out to Vero. Will you shut up? Bucs defense is terrible. Face palm.
Win.
Jay Walsh, can I come on the stream? We'll get your phone calls. I mean, we allow people to get on the stream, but we have a lot of people here. So we'll just we'll go ahead and call the phone line. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll put the phone line up there, guys. Sorry about that. Yes, Shooter, but the game really wasn't close that the Bucs receivers dropped that many balls right in their hands. He says, where was Gronk tonight blocking? D. Lamb says, Washington fan here from Ocala, Florida. You guys have an awesome team, and we're playing our heart out for this game. Good luck for the rest of the postseason. I'll be rooting for you. I like that guy right there, and I tell you why. Because he said it best. That Washington football team, with everything on and off the field, with all the trials and tribulations with their coach and with the allegations off the field, for them to be in the playoff chase, even though it's a bad division, to still go out there and give 100% effort and get the Bucs a real scare here, which may be good for this team to realize, look, even though you're a juggernaut and you're going in the right direction, sometimes you need to be punched in the face to get some type of reality check.
Absolutely. You need that gut check sometimes.
Yep. There you go. We'll get out to Johnny Dean in a moment here. I want to read the rest of these comments. So many comments. Blocking, says Johnny Dean. Ari says blocking again. Russ Lawson says, I said this prior to the season. Get depth at running back and Bucs will win. Look at us now. Shooter and Stash. There was a huge momentum swing when Vaughn fumbled. The fact that they overcome that was big. Landon says Mentor missed a sack. That he did, but he also had pressure in there, which caused a big-time interception by Sean Murphy-Bunting. You're exactly right. A lot of Bucs players tonight missed key opportunities to sack this quarterback, and that quarterback made him pay. He did. He made him pay with his legs. Let's go out to Heath. Not much pass rush at all tonight for us. Shaking my head. The team really needs Vita Vea back too, but he went down. That man was the pass rush. Definitely a 340, 350-pound guy that's taking up, double and triple teams. And with his athleticism and that penetration, it opens up that outside rush for those guys like a Shaq and a JPP, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Good take there. Mentor is better in coverage than White. David says, look, running backs fumble too. Bucs were scoring on that drive too. Was tough. Bottom line, corners and safeties got to play much better or we will lose by double digits next game. They need turnovers. Carlton says, we need a running game. It took 4 years. Agree with that. Now you have that running game, which is a good thing to have. Let's see here. Let's go back. Hold on a sec. There we go. Landon says, Mentor also jumped up in the air and missed a sack, and the quarterback scored. That was him. That was Mentor. Was it Mentor? It was Mentor to me. It was not David. Ari says, White would have killed Heineken on those runs. It's Heineke, but they said Heineken, so I kind of like that. Not against the broken ribs. Breeze. Hope the Bears kick the Aints' ass tomorrow, says Carl. Me, Sador, says, Carlton Cook, my point is, Brate doesn't get looks because Gronk is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Bringing in OJ in the draft was a terrible pick. Look, I don't know. I mean, I was a Dalvin Cook guy. I wanted to draft Dalvin Cook at 19, so you have that running back. But OJ Howard, when he was healthy this year, to his credit, was definitely playing some good football. And that's the problem with OJ. He's got to stay healthy. And I think you got a good problem to have here. You got Rob Gronkowski, who's never played a full year. Finally, he plays a full year. You have Cameron Brate that backs him up. You have OJ Howard. So I understand it. I get it. But, you like to have those tight ends healthy. But the reason why you have so many tight ends is because a lot of these players can't stay healthy consistently. That's what it comes down to. It's a good problem to have. David says, great feed, guys. Love the content. Go Bucs. Absolutely, David. Thank you very much. The guy is finished after the year. Breeze can't throw hard anymore. Can't throw long anymore. Let me go out to Johnny Dean. As far as knowing how to read them, yes, but White has the speed they needed tonight to run those sideline to sideline plays and could have kept the young quarterback contained much better. Agree with that. Russ says, most playoff teams have depth at running back, and the Bucs do, thank God. Jay Walsh says, I guess I'm blocked. I don't think you're blocked. Who blocked you? Nope, they just don't answer questions on here, Ryan. I do answer questions. We just didn't get to it. We were providing the concept where we definitely answer your questions. Sometimes they have a call-in number. We do. Jay Walsh, shut up and listen. They're not going to bring you on their stream. I don't mind, Jay, bringing you on, but we kind of have so many comments right now. If you want to call in, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. I tell you what, the next time we're on, which is going to be Monday night, we'll send you the link. We'll bring you on. Hopefully you don't curse and don't get out of control, all right? Maybe he needed to poo like Lamar. Yep, I don't know about that. David says this team grinded out the game with the fumble, drops, poor D. They played gritty and found a way versus a top 5 D. 31 points and could have had more. I think that's a great point. Great point by David. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons. Ryan says, yes, David, their receiver dropped at least 4 key passes. Tim says, the Bears. Ryan says, Washington was lucky they did. The game should have been over early. Ari says, Urlacher. Carlton Cook says the price tag for Brate is way too high, period. Low blow, says Jay Walsh. Rams scare me more than the Saints do. Russ says, Bears have Montgomery at running back. He's just as good as Kamara. Jay Walsh says it's freezing outside. I'm in Alaska. Thank you very much for tuning in, Jay Walsh. We appreciate the time here with us. Carlton Cook is it now. Without Cam, we don't win today. Exactly. And I get it. Going back and forth with Gronk and Cam. Cam is able to catch passes, and he showed that tonight. Cameron Brate has been Winston's security blanket, and it's kind of fallen off the last couple of years because of players coming in and also because of the injury situation. But he had some big catches tonight, and if you don't have a Cameron Brate, you don't convert some of those third downs. You don't move the sticks like he did tonight.
Nope. You needed Cam Brate today in a big way because when Gronk was blocking, you had Brate to be able to come out and catch some of those passes.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with that. I'm just getting text right now. Johnny Dean, hold on here. We got to read these comments. Why do you live so far south? I live at the North Pole, says Ryan. Okay. Ryan, you're in the North Pole. Where? Ryan says the poly parts. Okay, guys. Russ says Trubisky will rush for 100 yards because the coach went back to letting Trubisky play his game instead of making him play against what he's used to. Agree with that? Is there an opportunity to see possibly what this kid did tonight with Mitch doing that versus that Saints defense, or you don't see that happening?
I mean, you can do it, but you're playing against a very highly talented Saints defense, so they're not just going to let you run around like that.
Agree. All right, let's go out to David. No, we can't beat the Rams. Saints are in our head. I'm praying Chicago balls out on D. Just cover the check down, swing passes versus Drew. Rather play Green Bay than the Saints. Jay Walsh says, nah, you are joking. Ryan says, laugh out loud, I live in Winnipeg, Canada. So we got a Canadian there. There we go. That's very cool. All of our role players played a hell of a game, and it made it fun to watch, but we need to fix something. But I'm still happy we won. You agree with that? YBN Man says the role players played well.
That's why you have them.
What's some other guys you saw that stepped up tonight? Anthony Nelson had a sack in this game. We saw Nacho get in there on a pressure. What else did you see in this game? What other players stepping up in your opinion?
Kevin Minter was a backup.
Yep.
Russ Cockrell didn't play, but he played well. They play all season. When you had guys out, all the backups have played a good part in this season when it called to duty. Josh Wells stepped in some part of this. So yeah, the bench players have definitely stepped in and helped this team get to where they are today.
Absolutely. All right, let's go back out to the webheads here. Churchill says Jay Walsh. Ryan says Drew Brees is not even worth worrying about anymore. Well, until you beat him, I definitely think he's a worry. Again, he doesn't necessarily have the arm strength like he used to. They're not throwing deep, but what they do is get rid of the ball quick. And when you're playing zone defense, which is what the Bucs are guilty of doing points in this season, he picks you apart, especially with the Michael Thomas, who is a matchup nightmare. Talk whatever you want to talk about, but that Saints team really gave you the business these last two games that you faced them. The first game of the season was a lot closer than the last one at Raymond James James Stadium. Yeah, was embarrassing. So Winnipeg Blue Bombers of the CFL. Ryan says, yes, laugh out loud. Jay Walsh, I watch the CFL sometimes. David says, Canada is beautiful. Ryan, defending champions, laugh out loud. So is the USA. Let's keep on reading these comments here as they're coming fast and furious. A lot of YouTube comments that I love it. YBN, man, missed tackles and no containment, but we fix it. I mean, that's what I saw tonight, and that's one thing that has to be cleaned up for this defense, and I get it. A lot of people want to compare them to 2002. They're not the same type of defense. We've seen moments where they can be dominating and stifle offenses, but let's just call it for what it is. This offense is the thing that's going to lead this team. The defense is definitely going to have to make stops when they need to, but this offense is going to be the catalyst for this team, in my opinion. What do you say?
Definitely the offense has got to be the catalyst. Like you said, come through, put up the points and let the defense come, because when you put a lot of pressure on this defense, you see they give up a lot of passing yards and give up some big plays on defense when they're asked to do more than they should.
Yeah, all right. Good stuff, YBN. I like that guy right there. YBN always brings it. Let's go out to David. Thanks. Hope it stays that way in the next 4 years. Carlton Cook, ifs and buts, bro, but glad we had him today. But if OJ was playing, Brate would probably healthy scratch health. Agree with that?
Yeah, OJ would have started.
Okay. Yep. Carlton Cook there. Good stuff. Ari says Ted Larson doesn't want to see Aaron Donald.
Let's not even talk about that.
Yeah, not good. Carlton Cook, if OJ were even healthy, best ability is availability there. So good point. Win is a win. Ugly Super Bowl is still a Super Bowl. Let's see the Greek freak. Let's go Bucs. Fire them cannons, as we saw right there. Let's keep on reading some of these comments. I'll read them slowly. He's been healthy for 2 or 3 years. Ryan says, way to go, Tampa. Fire those Washington coaches. All right, so let's go out to Christopher here. let's talk about that reverse, not a usual play for this offense. I mean, we saw a couple times tonight Scotty Miller get out on reverse. We also saw Antonio Brown on the other side. So they definitely, once again, they have those weapons, and they've incorporated that, and they definitely caught Washington sleeping on that, right?
Yep, you got to mix up what you're doing and take aggressive of an aggressive defense and give them mixed directions.
Okay. All right, really quick, I want to get Johnny Dean on here. We'll go back to the comments in a moment. Let's go ahead and go out to Mr. Johnny Dean. Johnny Dean, your thoughts on this victory over the Washington football team. Welcome to the Evolution.
Well, first off, it was a victory. Fire the cannons for that, buddy.
Absolutely, we shall. There we go. All right, my friend, go ahead.
And okay, all this stuff about Washington playing us so strongly and stuff. Well, last week, everybody said Washington was going to beat us. They said that defense was going to eat us up. A few people were saying that, Chase Young was going to destroy Donovan Smith. What happened there?
0-7.
Yeah.
Nothing. I believe Donovan Smith took Chase Young out of the game.
He did.
He sure did.
He did.
By
Absolutely.
himself.
Yep.
Ted Larson, I think he just needs to get his game feet back under him. He had a bad game. Minter, Blake. Minter is a very solid linebacker, but he's a backup linebacker. He doesn't have that speed to go sideline to sideline, and I think that's where we could have used Devin White tonight, because you notice that they were all, every time he ran, they were pulling to the strong side, right? Like they were in a passing play, throwing the 3 deep, and then we'd cover those guys. Kudos, by the way, to the secondary for covering and making that guy run.
Yeah.
And they would cover, and he'd run back off the weak side, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that would have been Minter. That would have been Devin White's bread and butter right there. You agree?
I you agree with that? I mean, is that White's bread and butter?
What, being on that side? That's where he usually is. I mean, nobody said he was as fast as Devin White. Is he a great backup? Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm just explaining. That's what I was saying in the chat, but you guys were like, no. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a great plug-in guy when you need to plug him in. Of course, he's not Devin White. Definitely doesn't have that speed. That's without question. But he made a play today that helped the Bucs get up, what Harry say, a 10-point swing.
Yeah,
it helped them get there. He made a play that you needed to play, and he's a backup. So.
Yeah, he's a backup, and that's the reason why you have him as a backup, because he's played in this league before, and he's played quite well when he's had to sub in for the Bucs. Let's not forget, the Bucs didn't start out with Devin White. They started out with Minter, and he was, they didn't really miss.
He's played well every time he's got it. He got a pick in the Panthers game.
Yeah, I have no problem with his play. I just think that his speed, White's speed, would have been more valuable in this game.
Absolutely, he would have ran him down easily.
I mean, we talk about speed tonight. We saw Jordan Whitehead miss an interception, but we also saw him come up like a missile.
Oh God, he was laying.
Man, that was a great play.
Yes, come up. I mean, laying the lumber. I mean, we want to see more of that. You could see why Whitehead is back there as a safety. Man, he was fast to it, and he looked like I hate to say, he looked like a little bit of a John Lynch there, going after the ball carrier. Absolutely. Go ahead, Johnny.
I wanted to say that to Harry earlier when I liked, but I don't think Minter is a game ball. He was one of the game ball candidates. I would give him that. But game ball to me on offense has to go to Donovan Smith.
Yeah,
beating as he's taken throughout the years with us, he deserves something, man.
Well, trust me, he'll get my props from me.
I definitely think he definitely deserves something, and who knows? Maybe this is a sign of stepping stone, but also a possibility where the Bucs are thinking about, or not that they were thinking about cutting him for that salary. Maybe they're bringing him back if he continues to play like this. We've seen it. To me, it's about effort with Donovan Smith. He has everything you want.
He was playing nasty.
He was playing nasty, good technique, not getting pushed back like a turnstile. Not doing the
back.
Ole.
That's what I wanted to see.
Yes,
he fought today. That's all I ever asked. If you're
that beast mode came out.
Yeah,
just fight. I don't care if you get beat. It's going to happen. Those guys are pros too, but just fight. That's what he did today.
Yeah.
On defense, I'm kind of torn, man. You know who closed out the game for us, right?
Levante David. And
David played very well. He was being ran to death but he played very well today, man. He was crucial in a lot of those plays.
Clutch.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, I want to get that center covered a little bit better in their zone defense because Levante wasn't dropping back far enough into coverage, and it was a position in those plays they were always dropping the ball just over his head. And if he'd been dropped back a little bit farther in coverage, he'd have got him an interception today.
Well, that's what Blake was saying, pointing out that the linebackers were not getting the necessary depth, and you pointed that out. Blake has pointed that out. So that comes down to, once again, technique and being in the right place at the right time. And there were points tonight that they weren't, and I can understand why fans are looking at this defense needing to improve. Gave up a lot of yards tonight to, let's just face it, let's point it out there, a backup quarterback. But that backup quarterback definitely didn't play like a backup. That's
another thing I wanted to say something about. Mm-hmm. Backup quarterbacks usually have their best game in their first game because there's no tape on them.
That's a good point. I mean, there was not a lot of tape, and you kind of.
It's not just the Bucs. I mean, everybody suffers to a backup quarterback, whether they win or lose. They always suffer to a backup quarterback for some reason. Look what Nick Foles did in playoffs and stuff.
Oh God, I mean, and you're exactly right about that, Johnny. And here's the thing: you kind of wonder if the Bucs game plan for him or thought that Alex Smith was going to start or not. And I feel like if Alex Smith started tonight, I think it would have been a different game. I think the Bucs definitely would have gotten.
That would have been a rout.
Yeah, I believe that because Smith doesn't have the mobility that this guy I think he had.
And they all week they had Washington had been saying that Alex Smith was probable, just questionable, and they kept the questionable thing on him, and then they pulled him like at the last minute. So
yeah,
that's another part of gamesmanship, though. You got to second guess all that stuff.
Yeah, you're exactly right. All right, Johnny Dean. Anything else, buddy? Because we're going to read the rest of these comments, and then we're going to try to get out of here. But again, 140 people watching. Really appreciate it, guys. Really appreciate all the web heads here and all the fans of Bucs Report tuning into these broadcasts tonight. It means a lot. I see more YouTube viewers here. I see some Twitch guys. Not really. I don't see a lot of Twitch. I see a lot but Johnny Dean.
One thing, bud. Go Bucs.
Yeah, man. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons. Eddie, that's all you can really say after the Bucs defeat the Washington football team tonight, 31-23. Moving on up, moving to the divisional round, and we'll await who they're going to play. Will it be the Saints, who have a tough matchup versus the Chicago Bears, or will it be the Rams? And if they play the Rams, they'll host them here at Raymond James Stadium. If not, they will go to New Orleans. Looking at these matchups, because I'll get back to these comments in a moment, do you want the Saints? Do you want the Saints in the second round? Do you want that smoke, as the kids would say? Or do you want the Rams in that matchup, that rematch of Monday Night Football at Raymond James Stadium with that defense, how well they played?
I would like to play the Saints to go to the Super Bowl. That would be nice to finish off, get to play 3 times. You got smoke the first 2 and smoke the second time you play. But you 0-2 to them this year. That would be nice little finishing piece to finish them off to go into the NFC champion. But if you're asking me, it'd be nice to play the Rams. They're banged up. You should have won the game even when they weren't banged up.
Yeah.
2 ill-advised turnovers by Tom Brady in that game. I know some throws he would want back. That's definitely a game that they can win. Yeah,
no, absolutely. So, again, appreciate all the support here, guys. Let me go ahead and read these comments. So we definitely read that. Read that one. Ryan says Gronk made that Chase Curl non-factor with his blocking. Gronk was truly a blocking tight end tonight. 0 catches. Misador says Carlton Cook, who hasn't been OJ. Yeah, if he can get loose, sometimes imagine what a factor he will be. David says, we scored 31 and with so-called bad game with drops. Offense is fine. Running backs played well, only for that fumble. D has to step up for sure. BA said played piss poor. That's BA's comments. They played piss poor. They played piss poor. He ain't lying. Was good. We needed more misdirection and short throws. David says, yeah, Ryan totally under the radar. Gronk gave the offensive line a huge boost. Carlton Cook, Brait, Bucs football, right? Scott says, Tampa Brady, Buccaneers, Super Bowl 55 dub. Let me go ahead and fire those cannons. Ryan says, yes, Gronk is still dangerous. He's not what he once was, but he's still dangerous. Kevin, get Devin White back in the defense next week. I believe the Bucs can win the Super Bowl, but the pass defense absolutely needs to step up. David, Gronk and Brady take their shots. Misador, Carlton Cook, I'm not going to make you understand how football works, so we will just have to agree to disagree. Go Bucs, second round. TJ says, agreed, they got to play much better next week. Go Bucs. Daniel, Bears or the
we just
Saints?
mentioned that.
I think it's going to be the Saints, but we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Scott says about time the Bucs held a lead the whole game. David says good victory, solid down the stretch, didn't fold. Kevin. About them.
My concern with the Saints, of course.
Mhm.
We can manage the Rams pass rush. The Bucs have not shown anything yet to show me that you can slow down the Saints pass rush.
For some reason, that's a bad matchup, so we'll see.
That's concerning.
Laugh my ass off, go Bucs. Eric says, how worried are you guys about no cap at right guard?
I'm not going to say that yet till I know what's going on. I
Right.
have no clue what's going on with that yet.
Exactly. Tom says, who do you think we're going to play next week? Let's just sit back, and I think it's going to be the Saints, though. I think it is, but we'll see. We'll see. Scott says, Tundra bound. Saints will walk over the Bears tomorrow. Tampa Bay is not going to the Super Bowl this year, says Brian. Okay, that's your opinion. I don't know what that's what that is. What is that? Is that his face there?
It's the stash.
It's good. I got the cannon for that comment, Ryan said. Do you think the Saints will win?
Well, Brian, it's possible.
D. Smith, Brait, Fournette, and Brady all get game balls. I mean, going back to Brady's game tonight, 22 for 40, 381 yards, 2 touchdowns. Once again, he showed, man, guy's got accuracy. He missed maybe a couple throws there, but 5 drops from Godwin definitely didn't help that percentage out at all.
Nope, his passing ratio is killed because of that.
Yeah, agree. Let's go out to David here. Tom's taking them back home to the Super Bowl. Jordan says, love seeing Tom's fire when things were a bit dicey. Ari says, Donovan Smith needs to prove his worth against the Saints. They have owned him for years, and that's the matchup you get. Trey Hendrickson, you've got to shut him down. You've got to shut Cam Jordan down. They have to have a better game plan going into New Orleans in order to beat that team, because the last game at Raymond James Stadium left a lot of Bucs fans very worried about that matchup again if you had to play him in the playoffs. So
just nothing to say about that. It's just a beating.
Brandon says, did Chase get what he wanted? Fire them things, Peter. We will absolutely do that.
So you like that?
You like that? We're
like
Saturday night here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. It's 1:23 in the morning at the Deck Bar and Grill, and we're still going strong here. Love you guys. 137 people still watching. This is completely freaking unbelievable. Love it. Brady at age 43 looks younger than most quarterbacks at age 35. It's that TB12 stuff, I guess. Yes, Jordan says Ryan. David says Saints are getting upset. I'm calling it bold for sure. J-Dog says the Tampa Bay Bucs are going to the Super Bowl versus the Bills. Go fire them cannon 7 times. I don't know about 7 times, but I'll give you another one here. I'll give you 2. There we go. Yeah, David, don't see Breeze playing well. Good night, guys. Good night, Ryan. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Brady is good for 3 more years. Age wine better with time. I like that. Ryan says, laugh out loud. Brady's last year will be next. He said he's playing until he's 45. He's got a couple more years there, doesn't he? He's 43, right? Mm-hmm. 43, so 2 more years. Can't wait to see it, Ryan. Have a good week. Absolutely. Ryan says, you too. Me, Sedora, win is a win. Football bounces in crazy ways. We never lost the lead. Never. That's what Rick Hughes was bringing up. Absolutely. Go Bucs. Go Brady. Fire those coaches. I'll go ahead and fire the cannons. I'll go ahead and fire the coaches. Dylan says, more snaps from Ross Cockrell. Seems like he's always making plays when he's on the field. Do you agree with that? I mean, could you see more snaps with a Ross Cockrell, or are they going to run with the rotation of a Jamel Dean, of a Sean Murphy-Bunting, and a Carlton Davis?
I know why he's saying Cockrell, because of Dean giving up the touchdown pass, but he did also get an interception.
Yeah.
But it is concerning, though, especially in the red zone. Teams tend to go to Sean Murphy-Bunting and the red zone, but playing that slot position is tough because the wide receiver can go either direction in the goal line. Yeah.
All right, so let's go out to Brian here. New Orleans Saints got a great quarterback, a great team. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
Word.
All right,
So
well, I'm going to go ahead and
he said word. Yeah. So he's a Saints fan watching the Bucs.
Well, that's okay. You can do that. Cool. You're more than welcome to watch it. We'll watch it together, Brian. We'll see if they play him the next round. Second round. First time since 2003. Think about that. J-Dog says Saints are going to lose via the Bears, says J-Dog. Ryan says, let's go here. Yes, D. Lem. Christopher Cole. Where's the 10 sacks at D'Angelo Hall? By the way, that's what D'Angelo Hall was saying. 10 sacks. He's going to be sacked. Everybody was talking about Chase Young and this defensive line. This offensive line showed you how good they can be. I mean, again, they gave up 3 sacks, but they were later on in the game, and a couple of those were coverage sacks, right?
Did D'Angelo Hall say that for real?
Yeah, I believe he did.
Ex-Washington Redskin?
Yeah.
At that time was Redskin, but
yeah, not very good as a Redskin.
It's him and Steve Smith make some outlandish things that they say sometimes.
Oh, that's right. Steve Smith said that this team was going to get pounded in, that they were going to get their doors blown off, and yet Steve Smith, the Bucs are in the second round. Just saying. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. It's the Sports Web live from the Deck Bar and Grill. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Blake Anthony of Sports Talk 49. As everybody's headed out, so we'll read the rest of these comments, see if we can get some calls on here. And I hate to do it, but we may have to end it. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning here, so we're at 1:27. We'll give this as much time as possible. We got Ron in the background there. Great friend of mine, Webhead. We'll get him on in just a little bit. Let's keep on reading these comments. So there you go. J-Dog says, you only beat him by 3 points in the game this year. David says, well, Washington found their new quarterback, silver lining for the football team. Yeah, you played very well. Who is that guy rolling on the ground? That one diving touchdown was nice, but he still got the loss against the Bucs. Rick Hughes says this game was not as close as it looked. Do you agree with that? I definitely think it was close. I get
what his point is, but it was close.
It was too close for comfort, if you will. Bunting needs to get into film and break himself down. Self-evaluation is critical. Mike D. Roche, even after a playoff win, so much negative energy, incredible fan support or lack thereof. Shaking my head. Brian says New Orleans Saints are going to kill the Bears. J-Dog says, you will see, man. Saints are done for the year. Go Bucs. Me, Sador says, keyword, Peter, in that statement is when OJ hasn't finished the season, and that's the key. OJ is we're not talking about today? We're not talking about OJ in the Ford Bronco, white Bronco. We're getting silly here. No, we're not talking about OJ Simpson, the juice. No. We're talking about of course, OJ Howard, and he has not been able to. Will you shut up and be
so long.
quiet?
Got his last name.
I did forget. It's been
that long, right?
I actually did forget his last name. It's getting late. So that's what it is. But you're right. Howard has definitely not been able to stay healthy. And that's the big time key. You've got to stay healthy. You can't make it in the tub. You can't.
No.
So
he's got the brace on. He's playing at home with his kids. So he's not on the football field.
Yep, that's it. Shout out to our O-line. Yep. Absolutely. Mike D. Roche, next game Saturday or Sunday. We don't know, but we'll be here for you guys, as always, live at the Deck Bar and Grill. Hopefully you guys are here on the broadcast and come out here. Cam Brate is great. He's very underrated. Love that, man. Trey says Cam Brate's contract's got to go this offseason. I'm already talking about Cam Brate's contract going.
Let's worry about the playoffs.
Guy just played his ass off in this game versus the Washington football team. What are these fans talking about? No way, man. Mike says, I'm freezing. I'm in
Cali?
No, he's in Canada. That's the CA. It's silly to even talk about letting him go. J-Dog says, I let Gronk go before I let him go. How about let nobody go? How about sign everybody? Everybody's talking about the Bucs don't have the money, and these guys. Look, there's 2 words that I got to say right now on the sports web that most likely will get all these players back.
No veggies?
No, that's not what it is. You're an idiot. Tom Brady right there, and this is what you get for that, and this is what you get for that.
Damn, I get
exactly. You get both of them right there. So we'll see, man. Let's let free agency. Let's hold off on free agency. Let's let the playoffs finish first. Mike won't be decided until tomorrow, so we'll get you the update on that. Stay tuned. The Bucs report.
They have 3.
Absolutely, you can absolutely keep 3 tight ends. Well, buy Gronk. Trey says, then buy Brady. Buy Brady, just keep on buying.
Just keep going.
Buy people, buy. OJ Howard is going to be a top tier tight end, hands down.
Still waiting for that.
Buy, says Trey. Ryan Smith diving out of the way on a punt return, laughed my ass off. I mean, that was a little bit dicey situation. That was scary. That was a typical Bucs special teams play in a postseason game.
Like,
that could have turned the tide. Like, what are you doing? Get out of the way. As I'm chewing on wings and everything else that's going to put on some LBs here the next couple hours. Ain't no Sunday like Victory Sunday. Agree with that. Luke says, so good to break that playoff win drought. Let's go Bucs from Melbourne, Australia. Jeez, I love this. We got Australia and Canada, it's in Alaska. It's just amazing how many people are watching this show on Facebook and YouTube. Just amazing. J-Dog says, only reason Gronk is here is because of Brady, but Gronk has played well this year, okay? Let's give the man some credit. He stayed healthy. He's been an impact. Well, how many touchdowns do you have? Six touchdowns this year?
About 600 yards receiving.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds good to me.
It sounds really good to me. So I don't think he's ready to retire yet. And we'll let the Bucs handle that financial stuff with Mike Greenberg and Jason Lang because they do a hell of a job. And again, it comes down to two words. Tom Brady. People talking about Chris Godwin, maybe let him go.
Tom Brady.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to do that. I'm not ready to talk free agency. I'm still ready to continue
Tom Brady
this
is
postseason.
the price line negotiator. That's what
That's it. Come back, you win a championship. If not, you go to the team like the Jets. And you know what that means just in the season, like a Rashard Perriman. So Trey says O.J. Howard might not be the same. Achilles is no joke. I mean, that's definitely a big-time concern. Maybe he's not the same. So we'll see. A. Phil says Bucs won't lose 3 times in one team this year.
Saints.
Yeah, to the Saints. Let's go out to Author. Go Bucs from Monroe, Ohio.
O-H.
I love it. O-H-I-O. Of course, a big game on Monday night. We'll be live. We'll try to get off as soon as we can, but you got the Alabama Crimson Tide versus Ohio State. Will you shut up and be quiet? J-Dog says, yo, bro, it's Bucs. No K needed, my guy. That's okay. I understood what he was saying. He wasn't saying the Milwaukee Bucks. But I think we have to face the Saints, which is Bears ending for them. Bucs win. Saints, Tim says, Saints seem to be Evans' kryptonite. Can he get over this hurdle? Do we need to line him up in different spots to get him away from Lattimore? Good question.
No,
what do you think?
Lattimore can go anywhere on the defense, so there's no really getting away from Lattimore.
I think you got to be more creative, right? And that was Antonio Brown's first game.
He didn't know the plays. There was miscommunication. There was a pick thrown on him. Miscommunication.
He could be the X factor there, and I think it comes down to, once again, your offensive line stepping up and taking care of your business. And they got to run the ball. And they showed that tonight. They ran for over 100 rushing yards. Fournette himself nearly had 100. I know that Vaughn had some carries in this game, so they went over 100, but 19 carries, 93 yards, 1 touchdown. Once again, talk about Fournette's performance against the Washington football team.
He grounded and pounded it out, and at the end of near the end of the game, the fourth quarter is where his biggest runs came.
Yeah,
which it should, when the defense tiring out and you're trying to close out a game. That's what a running back's supposed to do of his stature.
Yeah, I'm getting texts right now from people. Go Bucs, says somebody. So Eric Moreno saying that to me. Let's more read. Mentor's a good linebacker. He's just not a starter anymore, but he's got gas and he plays. He's got something left in him. I agree with that.
He's only 28. Everybody acts like he's 50 years old.
Right.
He's playing years.
Mike Edwards needs to play more playing time, but we saw him tonight. Not a great play. Yes. TJ Barber says, hey, it's just me, or should we cut Vaughn?
Keep going.
TJ, come on.
Keep going.
TJ, what? Cut Vaughn?
For starters, was just a great punch. I think you need to give the defender a credit.
Right.
Like
you cut Vaughn? Why would you cut Vaughn?
He's like literally inches from the ground, and he by chance got his arm in there and punched that out. It was just so lucky and unfortunate for Washington that he punched that out.
Thank God for the waiters here and waitresses in the service for getting me drinks, because my voice is
too much liquor.
Will you shut up and be quiet?
Hey.
Smith looked hungry today. This was a beautiful win. It was a beautiful thing, says Misador. TJ Barber, you're in timeout now. Yep. Johnny Dean says, no, I do not want the Saints, but with our playoff history, I certainly don't want the Rams either.
Oh, yeah, the Rams, yeah. Good point.
Arian said Kappa doesn't look good right now. Brian says the Saints are going to win the whole thing. Okay, you've said that many times here. Come on, bring something different, Brian. I get it. I don't know how we stop the Saints if our defense plays like this. I mean, it's a good point. It's a really good point, and it's one of those things you definitely have to focus on here. Let's see. So you're exactly right about that. Misador says Johnny Dean, Larson is a solid backup. Give him a week with the ones for chemistry. Is Kappa quality? Is he Kappa quality? No. Is he serviceable? Yes. Agree with that?
Larson is Kappa quality. With a week of practice
under Keith Larson, Ted Larson.
I know. That's it. Yeah, I think with a week of practice under his belt, he should play a lot better instead of being thrown in the fire, cold and everything.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's see here. The New Orleans Saints already beat Tampa in the regular season 2 times, but Brian, it is tough here. And you look like Geraldo Rivera, by the way. It's why do they do that? Why did I say that? Because it's late and because it's tough to beat a team 3 times. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Misador says D Hall and Steve Smith are just talking heads right now.
Making noise.
They sound like idiots. Bucs Super Bowl because we have 12. Bobby says Johnny Ojeda wants a shout out. Okay, absolutely. Bills versus the Saints Super Bowl, says Bobby Mack. Bobby Mack, thank you. Johnny Dean here, and I guess Bobby Mack and Brian Pearson are relatives or something. They're just having a good old time there. Family reunion here on the Sports Web. We love bringing people together. People are confusing this season with the last 15. Hey, people, we got an off season to talk about players, but we are still playing football now, unlike past years. Thank you.
Still playing.
Goodness gracious, you would act like they lost the game. And honestly, if they lost the game, we would probably have like 3,000 people watching and 3,000 calls. Everybody, oh, the world's going to end. Brady lost the game for us. The defense was terrible. Blah.
The crazy part is they couldn't wait.
Yes.
Phone they just had the number in, just ready to hit it.
I'm looking at Dean right now, the manager. He's like, when are you done? Dude, we got 125 people still watching me. And these guys are absolutely nuts for this show. We love it here. We love it here at the Deck Bar and Grill. Thanks a lot for their time and their patience with us. Johnny Dean, the conversation started because dude said Brait sucked. Let's see here. Bobby Mack, Brian Pearson, great. Super Bowl beat the Bills. Brian says, come over to the Sports Coma tomorrow before the Saints game. It's Saints talk. Well, Brian, we appreciate the maybe we'll get you on the Sports Web. If the Bucs do play the Saints, we'll get you on here. We'll have you talk smack to us there. Just don't punch us out like Geraldo Rivera did on his show way back. Do you remember that when they brought the KKK on and they all had a fight?
God. I don't even want
it wasn't staged. That. Yeah, it was bad.
Said it wasn't staged.
It was good. It was good television. I mean, it was kind of funny to a certain degree. Geraldo got punched a couple times, but he was trying to fight. He was trying to show that he could fight. Alabama's going to win Monday night. Bobby says, yes, but Ohio will play them close and tough. Mike DeRoche. Evans on one leg, 6 receptions, 119 yards. Just wait till he has 2 good legs. Godwin drops, maybe playoff nerves. Not concerned about 14. Johnny Dean Fournette with 93 rushing yards. Brian, fix your team. It's a little blurry. I don't know what that's all about, but we're going from all these platforms right now, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and, of course, that Twitch channel, which gives me a convulsion because we don't get more views on it. Ha, 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 I know. So hopefully the stream sometimes – you know, if we're running for 2 hours now, sometimes you're going to have a couple glitches. We're working on it, but we appreciate you, Brian. Nah, I'm good with my whole team, dude. I don't want to get rid of any of them on either side of the ball, bro. I've always been a Bucs fan, 40 years, bro, and I'm really excited for my team. Let me fire those kids. Brian says, Robert Kowalski's multiple champions, but he's champion 24/7 champion. Remember that. I think he's talking about Rob Gronkowski. Is that who he's talking about? Okay. I think that's who you're talking about. Chargers going to win it all in 3 years.
I love that photo. That photo was awesome.
Who is that?
That photo was awesome.
Is that him? That looks like Brian Pillman. Rest in peace, awesome. Brian Pillman. That was a crazy wrestler. You know wrestling? Are you a wrestling fan?
Back in the day. I kind of stopped when Goldberg got out.
He looks like Brian Pillman, dude. Is that Brian Pillman? I don't know. All right. Did Blake say Peter licked her? I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. Them comments were just saying we got to get rid of one of them. The other, I let Gronk go is all. But if we got the cap, he will play.
I got a game next week.
Yes, they do. Bucs Chiefs Super Bowl. Like it, Russ. There you go. Laugh out loud was being sarcastic. Haha. Chill, good. Fellas. TJ, I know we were joking around with you, buddy. Maybe Johnny Peter on the root beer too hard. Would you shut up and be quiet? How about that right there?
As he takes another sip.
I had to take a sip, man. I'm starting to lose my voice here. Mo says Brady versus Mahomes. That would be a hell of a matchup. Rob Gronkowski already won the title this year with a WWE 24/7 title. That's the only championship he's ever going to get. Okay. Goodness gracious. I think Rob Gronkowski here, sir, has got a couple of Super Bowls. So I don't think that's the only championship he's going to get. We'll see about this year. And I asked for them 7 cannons for this 7th Super Bowl win. Maybe when you end the show, bro. Okay, J-Dog, you ready? Here goes. 1. Well, it's not playing.
Ran out of
2. All right. 4. go. You ready? Here it comes. 7. All right, J-Dog. There you go. Great show, guys. Big win. Absolutely. Let's go out to Angel here. Off comment, Alicia Keys or Haley Berry. Who is more beautiful? I say Alicia. Who do you say? Who do you like? Hey, Alicia Keys is something else. I'm the talent and everything else, but Halle Berry, man. Black don't crack.
I definitely had to go for Holly.
Boy, she is a beautiful woman, is she not? I mean, unbelievable.
That's a tough one.
Why just take them both? I will check that out, Brian Pearson. All right, good stuff. Johnny Dean tagged me. Sorry, TJ Barber. Blake is ready to go home. I can see it. Oh, well, we don't want to miss all these comments here. Hold on a sec. I don't want to miss all of them. Let's see. Okay, where we go here? Where do we miss out on our comment? Okay. Hold on a sec here. We're getting back to it. It kind of reversed on me, which is weird. Okay, let's get back to it. Okay, there it is. Ooh.
Yeah, you have it highlighted.
I know I have it highlighted, but this is weird. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are as good as you guys say they are. Why didn't they blow out the Washington team? Tell me that. Because it's the playoffs, sir, and that is a top 5 defense. In fact, it's one of the top defenses in the league. They had missed opportunities tonight. If you capitalize on those opportunities, you get it taken care of. But at the end of the day, you win the game. Let's see how the Saints play tomorrow versus the Chicago Bears. If that happens, I guarantee you I won't see on this broadcast that the Saints struggle. If the Saints blow them out, you can come on and brag if you want to. Hell, I'll get you on the show if you want. Let's see here. Mo Dog says Justin Herbert going to be a future MVP. Agree with that?
They didn't play today.
They didn't play today, but still, it's a question should ask.
I mean,
Justin Herbert. I mean, the talent's there. I think he could be a future MVP.
I mean, you're blind if you don't see the talent in Justin Herbert. Played great, lost a lot
Matt
of
Nagy
games.
is calling right now. He's the coach of the Chicago Bears. He decided to tune in. Man, we're just getting some viewers tonight. I'm going to get whooped today.
Oh, Lord of mercy.
Matt Nagy. I don't think that's Matt Nagy. Wake up, Blake Anthony. You ain't tired. You
put my
work
business
nights
out
anyway.
here.
Laugh out loud.
Don't put my business out.
That he does. Will you shut up and be quiet? L13. Who are we most likely to play, Rams or the Saints? I think it's going to be the Saints. I do. I don't think the Bears can beat them tomorrow, but I think it may be a closer game than people think. Who knows?
Shall see.
We shall see. Justin Herbert is going to be a future MVP. I agree with that. Next week, Bucs 31-27 over the Saints. Misador says Brian Pearson is a troll, not even a good one. I will go ahead and fire the cannon from that.
It's not better than Corey.
Yes, and I think we were at the end of the comments here. I hope the Bucs beat the Saints. Shut the fans up. He's killing the Bucs. Washington victory. Goodness gracious, we got 111 people still watching. I don't want to get off of here, but we're at 2 hours. Here we go. We got some more comments. Matt Nagy says, at least I beat the Bucs.
It's true.
Brian says, if you guys win the Super Bowl, let's just say, do you think Tom Brady gets a contract extension in the race? He's under contract for another year. So I would expect him, if you don't win the Super Bowl this year, he comes back. If you win the Super Bowl this year, most likely he comes back because he still wants to play, and he's playing at a high level. 40 touchdowns this year at 43 years old is tremendous.
Yep, none of us saw that coming.
Nope, absolutely not. J-Dog says, thanks, guys, you rock. So does this team. Haters going to hate, but Brady is going to keep on piling up those W's and rings. Let's go. Misador says, I'm just commenting to mess with Blake. Matt Nagy again. Brian Pearson, at least the Bucs have a quarterback with ribs. I like Matt Nagy here. I got to go ahead
Nagy's
and give
killing
him. He already said he's coming back. Let's see here. Ryan Yoga, Brady will retire on top. But that is an awesome photo. A lot of YouTube comments tonight. Love YouTube. To finish out the contract, A. Phil says this will be Rob's 4th ring. Johnny Dean, keep rolling until the sun comes up. Peter, laugh out loud. Still, Tim. Oh, you're gonna say it? Tomorrow.
Bet my bottom.
There you go. Tomorrow. The Bucs won. All right, Peter, I'm surprised your opinion is going against Harry the Greek. Pick the Chicago. That Chicago can win tomorrow. I'm just saying, look, it's certainly possible, but with Roquan Smith out of that game, you wouldn't. I mean, I think it could be close, but I definitely think still the Saints are going to win that game. But Harry's very accurate, so it's tough to go against Harry. It really is. It is. It's tough. So, what do you think?
As long as you got Khalil Mack, you got Khalil Mack out there, he's gonna make some plays.
Are you awake? Did you get your coffee today?
I'm ready to lay it down.
I'm telling you, I'm new here. I love this show. Go Bucs! All right, Hurricane Kilo. We got Hurricane. That's always good. Right now, the Saints will become the Saints and not go far in the playoffs. That's a good thing.
He don't mention that.
I've never gotten a cannon blast. Now you have my. I don't want a charity cannon blast. All right, I'll give you another one. Spaced out. You guys almost lost our Heineke. Brady won't last much longer. Almost losing to someone who came from his finals a month ago. Spaced out says almost lost to us. Mo Dog says if the Rams win, that will make the third LA team to win a championship in a few months. Come on, let's not go there. The Bears can win. The Saints only beat them by 3 points. It's not like they blew them out. Misador says comments to keep Blake up. Let's go ahead. Do we want to get out of here? Do we want to get these guys on really quick? Where we go? There's more comments. I need 5 cannon blasts now. All right,
God.
Here we go. Oh, this is too good. 2. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. 3. See you, Ron. We'll get him back on some other time. 4. And a 5. There we go. 5. Here we go. There we go. Okay. All right, so where do we leave off? We got all these comments now that are coming in. They're trying to basically keep us up here all night long. So let's see if we can just end these comments right now. Johnny Dean, Misador, still at it. Misador says troll like MW or troll like me. So let's see. Johnny Dean, I don't know what kind of comment that is. Mike D. Roche, 31 cannon blast. Let's go.
I'm putting the headset
I'm
down.
going to put this right here. Let's see. A cannon blast for a sad Redskins fan tonight. I will go ahead and oblige. 31 cannon blast. Let's go. Let's not do that. Any more comments? I think Johnny Dean again with a comment. I don't know what he's writing. Hurricane says, end the live, guys. Well, it's at 102 people. I don't necessarily want to do that, but I think we got to. I tell you what, he's hung out for a little while now. Let's get Ed on for a little bit, see what he has to say. Blake, I know you're going to hang out for just a little bit more, so we got to wrap up here. But come on, really quick here. Ed, our webhead here, will you guys shut up and get on the line here? We're at 1:49 in the morning. Go ahead, put on those cans. Be a professional. Don't do that.
Do what?
Well, what you just did. Go ahead, look into that camera and tell me what you thought about this Bucs big victory tonight over the Washington football team, 31-23.
Well, I think they played a good game.
Played a good game. Well,
Yeah.
You sound so excited about that. What did you see out of this game?
Well, it's 1:23 in the morning. So what do you want?
Is it? It's not 1:23 in the morning.
1:30.
It's 1:49.
1:49 in the morning. Yeah.
I'm still here.
I'm
I've been
still
here all
trying-
day long.
You are just a bundle of energy.
I am a bundle of energy. I mean, you got to wake up. It's the first postseason victory since January of 2003. Come on, come strong to the mic, man.
So yeah, they basically what I think is that they played a good game offensively. The offensive line really showed off their stuff today. Donovan Smith, man. I mean, who'd have thought he would have a good game?
Right. Very good game for Donovan Smith. You really didn't hear from Chase Young.
He was actually manhandling.
And then it looked like
This
Chase Young
guy.
got hurt later on in the game versus a Tristan Wirfs, but he was no impact at all. And I think a lot of people expected with Chase Young's comments that he was going to show out, and that offensive line proved to be lethal for him tonight.
Donovan Smith beat up Chase Young.
Yeah.
I mean, he beat him up.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm even getting tired now. You're putting me to sleep. So give me some final thoughts. I'm going to end it from here.
Final thoughts is that I would like to see the Bucs play the Rams again.
Okay.
And I believe that they'll win that game.
Right.
And they will go, and I don't know who they're going to play in the NFC Championship game, but I
It's a
think they're
good
going
thing.
all
You
the
know
way.
why? Because you're playing in the second round.
Exactly.
It's a good thing. And the Rams, the Redskins' history has been sorted. The last time, one of the last times the Bucs were in the playoffs, they lost in 2005.
That's true.
Raymond James Stadium. I can look at Dean right now, and it's perfect. He's like, "Would you get the hell out of here? Get off!" So We'll get you out of here. Ed,
Okay,
thanks
man.
a lot for coming on. Appreciate you.
Johnny Dean's telling me to get off the air.
Yeah, Johnny Dean is telling everybody to get off the air. We're
Oh, is
almost
he? Oh,
done
I
here.
thought he
We're at
was
2
fine.
o'clock in the morning. Go ahead and take off those cans. Thanks
Okay,
a lot for coming out. We'll see you next week, buddy. Did
right,
you
take it
enjoy
easy.
yourself tonight at the Deck Bar and Grill?
Oh, yeah, I had a great time. Food is great. If I came here every week, I'd be so fat, man.
Well, then come here every week. We got to fatten you up here, man. Thanks a lot for the time. Appreciate you. Let's go back out to the webheads, and then we will definitely wrap it up. Laugh out loud. The dude hosting the show, he isn't playing. Y'all better be hype. I mean, I'm telling you, man. I mean, I've been in a baby shower today. I got up, took my dog out. I went to
You
a
gave a
baby
baby a
shower.
shower?
Would you shut up and be
Why you giving baby
quiet?
showers?
I didn't give
They
any
take baths.
I went to a baby shower today before I came in here, hooked all this equipment up. We've been eating all night,
Oh, you
watching
gave
the Bucs,
Alexander a
watching
shower.
football. I despise you. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and shut up
You know
and
which
be
one
quiet.
you need on there? You need a will you
I'm
shut up button.
going to teach Alexander to bite you the next time I see you. Breeze or Brady taking the NFC Championship here.
Neither.
Let's go to Hurricane Donovan Smith, player of the game for me. J-Dog says
Look
put
for my
him
breakdown on that.
out of the game with a knee injury. G.J. Smith, are they talking about Donovan? Don't put him out of the game.
Chase came out with he got
Oh,
injured.
there we go. Ribs for ribs. We beat the Saints. And J-Dog says, what the ish happened? Smith just looked like what I did. Okay. I don't know what that guy's saying, J-Dog, but good comments tonight, even though I don't know what that last comment
It's all
was.
He's tired.
Final thoughts. It's almost 2 o'clock in the morning.
Get to talk about Bucs next week. That's the best part about it. Get Bucs football again next week, and hopefully it gets to continue on.
All right, let's read this J-Dog comment. Maybe Smith is getting paid a lot of money and has for years, but he doesn't play worth the contract. He's earned his money today and needs to keep playing like this. I absolutely
Sounds
agree
like me,
with
doesn't it?
that. It does. It does. So let's wrap it up here, guys. More comments. Goodness gracious, you guys. Bills look awful today. That they did. I mean, that's another team. You know,
Colts should have won that game.
Juggernaut
Colts should have
team.
won.
They struggled and they still won the game. But at the end of the day, they won the game early on in the day here. We should have those wild card games there. The injury when Chase got injured, Smith was like, "You okay?" Yeah, when you saw Chase on the sideline there, grimacing, and at the end of the game, he went right to Tom Brady. They shook hands.
Yeah, Brady went found.
And he talked to him.
Trolled that ass.
He trolled that ass,
Trolled
absolutely.
that ass.
Final thoughts, round two, baby. Go
Yep,
Bucs.
round two.
Absolutely. So we'll be back on Monday night here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. For Rick Hughes from the Cheap Seats and What's Cooking in the South, for the great Blake Anthony of Sports Talk 49, which show can be
Monday as well,
seen
3 p.m.
and heard here Monday and Fridays, 3 p.m. I'm your host, Peter Blake. Bucs beat the Washington football team 31-23 to get their first win and postseason play since January 2003. Live here from the Deck Bar and Grill. Guys, it's Victory Sunday. Have a great night and do 3 things for me. How do we end the show? Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake. See ya on Monday night. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Will you shut up and be quiet?
Years since this club been 11-5. Well, it's just the beginning. All right, it's just the beginning.
First time in 13 years, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are headed to the NFL playoffs.
Player 100, have your man back. I got your back. You feel? I take the ground for you. I got your back. I got your back on that. Let's go. Hey, dude, let's get started, man. We already turn up. And now, and everybody, man, let's have them brothers back, man. Because that's what we playing for. All right? Hey. Bang the brothers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Next up, playoffs, baby. We coming. Hey, Tom Brady, I'm coming. I want Tom. Six, folks. All right, here we go. Flip it in. Oh, wait a minute.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay! Touchdown, Tampa Bay Buccaneers! Let me hear the gun. Let me hear the cannon. Come on.
All right, this play, a lot going on. We'll listen to the call. There's a lot going on. No, it's Super Bowl or bust. That's the goal every year. Guess who's back?